Here we go. To the mountain. We're gonna rock and roll to the mountain from my neighborhood. Got that backpack. Thank you for the bread. Somebody donated a little bit of that bread, and that's all we got. Rock and roll with that, and that's all we gotta get on that drill to the mountain. Special event, special edition. Yesterday we were by the river. Gotta begin with gratitude, grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, the electricity bill's paid, and I think I've stretched enough. I got 3 coffees left, so until maybe for tomorrow is gonna be okay for sure. And of course, gotta wait here because the car passes and I don't wanna get in the way, see? So gotta be prudent when you cross the streets. Turn your heads left and right, because you never know, the brakes malfunction, and I'm in the public, you know, so I got added responsibilities, duties, and obligation as I go to my second home from the Dragon's Lair. From the Dragon's Lair to my second home, the mountain. The forest on the mountain, my mistress. The Rocky Mountain, my second home, my doctor. Doctor Mountain, mistress. Forest. Salutations, saluting thee with some good rock and roll from the Dragon Rainbow. For the firefighters, plumbers, electricians, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, and all those who are gonna do these works here, public workers across the 63, the North American Collective, the 10 provinces, 50 states, 3 territories. Got a backpack and I had a great lunch. I had some good meat. Thank you for the donation. Somebody donated that meat. So as you see in one of my videos, I think from today is Thursday, from Tuesday's video, as I take it in the backpack. So I cooked it today earlier this morning because it was, you know, it's time to get that cooking done because it was not that hot warm, because we had a 6-day, I would say between 4 and 6 days heat wave here in Montreal, Hot Island, and a heat dome. And yesterday was still hot on the 28 side, and yesterday was Wednesday. The day before that, Tuesday, it felt like 44. It felt like 44. It did feel like 44. So I never heard of anything like that. Look at these beautiful flowers. We're gonna go special edition. Dragon Army Special Pledge, your legions, for the Empire of the 63, the 10 provinces, 50 states, 3 territories, which we're gonna fuse in those military grade boots, auctioning them for $1 million as I gaze upon these beautiful flowers there at the corner. Turn your heads left and right when you cross the street. You gotta turn left or right because sometimes the brakes malfunction, and you gotta be prudent on the streets, you know, because we're in the public. So sometimes the brakes might malfunction. The citizen, of course, might press the accelerator instead of the brake, and those are the things which, of course, can possibly happen and occur in the situational awareness that we are to be prudent and in the public. Encouraging all the working out, train, exercising, you know. Has-beenism will be my medicine and therapy of choice, and I'm gonna try to stay out of the way of my fellow worker cutting some grass, smell some good grass, and it always smells good. I love the smell of fresh cut grass. Always smells so good. Smells so good, smells fresh. I like that smell. And I remember once I worked, I think it was right before I moved, 2016 or 2015 summer, spring, summer, autumn-ish. I'm not sure exactly between, but I worked a little bit in landscaping, and you know, the problem is that we Aspies, and I do have Asperger's, this neurological mental divergent condition, which makes me, of course, predisposed to special interest and certain non-normative, of course, characteristics and traits. Can seem weird and bizarre and strange is this, that I live with this neurological mental divergent condition called Asperger's. And I gotta say, I'm just gonna go a little bit on Asperger's because it's part of course, who I am, integral part of who I am. And see here, we got a double trouble because the car there has surpassed the bus. So if you notice, the car should have waited for the bus to pass. It would have been safer. But the car rushed, of course, and it passed on the other side. See, so it turned right there. It turned right, and it, of course, functioned in an improper way. I would say that it could have been patient, but the car rushed a bit. So that was a bit unnecessary in my position from my point of view, just being a little bit pressed for time. But sometimes, you know, we got to just wait because there's a bus stop there, and it's always safe to be safer on the secure side sometimes. But that was just my assessment, and we have to get that prevention, you know. And the children, if they're happy, that's what makes me happy. Joy of safety and security to the children, their innocence. And that is how I rock and roll 24/7 for the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the firefighters, the grocery store clerks, as I gaze upon that beauty. Isn't that just a beautiful field? A little flowers there on the clustered on the side. So, you know, I love me those yellow flowers, but I also love all sorts of flowers, regardless of whatever they may be. But they're scented, you know. Some of them are scented, some of them are not. I gotta go take a look. I'm curious if those are scented. In the corner here is a one-way, but I also wait. If it's one way, sometimes I wait. See, they can, in theory, they can go that way. But I just saw, as a matter of fact, somebody did a mistake. It turned on the one-way. So whatever the case may be, we gotta get it on the go. And I'm gonna smell some of these flowers here to see how smelly they are. Yeah, nice scent, not bad, not bad. Has a little bit of a lemon type of smell. It's quite a beautiful cluster there in the corner. So I gotta thank the public workers, you know, who take their time across the 63, the North American Collectif, to embellish our cities. Of course, it's paid, and we are going to address the financial big major concerns, which we have, myself included, you know, being that I'm unemployed. I'm always looking for business and opportunity, and to be honest, I'm broke. But I'm rich, affluent, wealthy. I'm just gonna take it on the side there because my fellow citizen is gonna go up, and I just don't want to impede in his way, to be in his way there, to be in his way, you know, to whatever he's trying to do. And I guess if you can prepare the ladder for maybe some landscaping work. So that's why I circumvented, because I got the big backpack, so I calculated that it's safer for me to just take a few steps to the left and then do a little bit of a semicircle around him rather than be too close to proximity. I know, 3 crows, that's 3 good omens. For me, bad for my enemies. For me, but bad for my enemies. For me, good omens, but bad for my enemies. For me, good omens, but bad for my enemies. But only friends with benefits. Pledge your allegiance, Legions does the song, and that's how I rock and roll. We gotta unite, fuse Canada, United States. And I guess today is the special for the Empire Geopolitiks edition, because you know I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who takes great pride in the work that I do as an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist. Sometimes my philosophies, dictums, propositions, and initiatives and analysis and more technical, academic, scholarly, and intellectual, sophisticated philosophically in terms of the geopolitical dimensions of my theoretical analysis, which is on a daily basis because geopolitical events occur daily. Of course, I still got to do a big meditation on the NATO summit, which concluded yesterday. Today we're the 26th, I guess, 26th. Oh, we're the 27th already. 27th. Wait. 24th was Tuesday, 25th Wednesday. We're the 26th, because yesterday was the 25th. So it's 2 days NATO summit. So the 26th today. The 26th. Just to make sure, 26th of June. I'm pretty sure, not pretty certain that we are Thursday, the 26th of June, yes, because the Saint-Jean Fête Nationale, and this is my third video because Monday I rested. So my first video was on Saint-Jean Tuesday, which was the 24th. And then we did, of course, yesterday, Wednesday, the 2nd of the week for the 25th, and then this one's the 3rd in a row because Monday I rested. That's why I'm gonna cap more than a few hours, because I aim to be doing at least minimum 20 hours of marching, as I do. It's part of my integral ASPI routine. You know, ASPIs, we have these routines. If you want to get familiarize yourself with Asperger's. It's not that common. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was discussing a 5-minute discussion with somebody on my long march after the video yesterday, and he had no idea what Asperger's is. I never heard of it. I explained a little bit what it was, and I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, I." Thanks for letting me know, and that's it. That's all. So I'm gonna let you know that I live with this neurological mental divergent condition called Asperger's, being that I'm an Aspie. I have certain difficulties in the social interactions and social awareness, and I have certain vulnerabilities, if you will, but I've been working on them, especially thanks to my anonymous friend. And my anonymous friend gifted me that special book called Appreciating Asperger's Syndrome. Appreciating Asperger's Syndrome. So Appreciating Asperger's Syndrome is a book, of course, which I recommend to all Aspies and those who want to learn more about Asperger's, what it is and what is not. And it's not a mental illness. That's where we have to draw the line. Asperger's, it's not a mental illness. It is a neurological mental divergent condition. Makes us predisposed to special interests, and those special interests preoccupy our whole routines with intensity, with concentration, with super focus. So when I do studies, as I did this morning, I was supposed to leave at 2. I finally left at 4:30. At 4:30. I said at 2 o'clock, then I delayed it for half an hour, then finally 2 hours and 2.5 hours, because I couldn't help myself but to do some more geopolitical analysis and basically study and regard and use and see what geopolitical events were transpiring on the daily basis, to do on the international level, North American centric level, and of course Quebec, as a Quebecer Canadian North American, because I'm also a mystic. I know part of my flashes of my reincarnations. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite poems is George Patton's Through a Glass Darkly. If you want to read that poem, it discusses his belief. George Patton, the general. Turn your heads left and right before you cross the street, just to be safe. So George Patton also believed in reincarnations. I'm just going to take a little bit of a detour to go hydrate a little bit as I gaze upon these beautiful flowers. What an amazing oranges. Isn't it just gorgeous with those yellow ones? Just refreshes the whole march to the mountain in such a nice way, just refreshing, those flowers. And it's summer now, first week of summer. So if you want to get familiar with reincarnations, I suggest you read books on reincarnations, or you read Through a Glass Darkly by George Patton. George Patton was, of course, a 4-star general. I was born in the United States myself 3 times post 1776. Once as a woman, twice as a man. When I was born as a man, I served in 2 different wars. The wars were 156 years apart, so they were intergenerational, wherever more. But then the same U.S. Army, of course, which has laid the foundations more than 250 years ago, as a matter of fact. 14th of June, it was the celebration of the foundation of the United States Armed Forces more than 250 years ago. So I was born in the United States in past lives, previous incarnations all across the world, and sometimes a man, sometimes a woman. That's why today you get that 50-50 androgynous pansexual Aspie artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist. And just to say a little bit introduction, what is Asperger's? It's this neurological mental divergent condition which makes me predisposed to these special interests, and those special interests preoccupy my daily routines, daily habits in a very intense. So Aspies, we have these ritualized like routines. Right, ritualized like routines, but we have special interests. They're also known as obsessive interests, but utilizing the word obsessive, saying the word terminology obsessive does not really apply to an Aspie, because that's normal for us. Being intense, super focused, super concentrated, super dedicated, super intense when we are involved in those special interests, whatever those special interests are, So whatever those special interests are, we gotta get it on the go, and that's what they're gonna get doing for that. So basically we are super involved and super dedicated, and that's what they have to. People who are neurotypical, the vast majority of them, 99.56%, they have to understand that for us it's a normality, it's a normal thing to be involved. You get these beautiful yellows, isn't just this beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. This is just gorgeous there. Shades of yellow. Nice. So basically, that's normal for an ASPE. In other words, it's normal for an ASPE to be involved with super concentration, super intensity, and super dedication in those special interests, in those special interests, whatever those special interests are, right? Whatever those special interests are. It could be cars, automobiles, right? And then an ASPE would know so many details about the cars, the year of fabrication, the production, the gallons per kilometers, consumption of gasoline per 100 kilometers, per 50, per 10, because you can reduce those fractional proportionalities, and so many other details about cars, right? My special interests are my holy trinity, and even when I do these marches, sometimes I discuss other topics, or I'm also part of my psyche, brain, and mental faculties are dedicated to thinking or analyzing or working in one of those areas. And my holy trinity is geopolitics, and I am an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist. Geopolitics, sports and fitness. Dancing is my favorite sport, and rock and roll. So those are the holy trinity of this ASPE. The problem is, due to these special interests, ASPEs, and Asperger's, again, is not a mental illness. We have these mutations of the brain. So due to these mutations of the brain, we see the world differently, So we see the world differently. And we are less able in certain things because due to these special interests, the problem Aspies encounter is that we tend to neglect other things of a social nature, of another nature, things of a social nature specifically. There's a tendency towards being more neglectful towards certain things of a social nature, if you will. The social nature of an Aspie might be inclined to neglect certain things of a social nature or another nature, which it can be XYZ factorials on a daily living basis, proposition on a daily living, what's required for a daily life. It could be something as trivial as closing the blinds or stuff like that, or other things. I'm just gonna hydrate a bit. Usually I let about 10 seconds. Usually I count 10 seconds, 20 seconds, of course, or because the pipes need to clear, So the pipes need to clear a little bit on that, and that's what we gotta get going on that. The pipes need to clear, and if the pipes are a bit dirty, you get that iron, and I'm glad that the sun's shining now. You get that iron in it, and that's what we gotta get doing on the go, and we gotta get doing for the love, for the bakers, the butchers, the nurses, the doctors, and of course all the public workers who lay the pipes. Imagine all the work which has been done for us to have this running water here. Just think about that. It's quite something to have water. Like, it's a privilege of civilization. That felt good. So that's basically Asperger's for you, Asperger's being this neurological mental divergent condition, not a mental illness. Please stop those who say that Asperger's it's an illness. No, it's not. And yes, in certain things, we are less able, myself included, and can be fully vulnerable. That's why I gotta thank my anonymous friend for that holy book, which is called Appreciating Asperger's Syndrome, because we also have our strengths. Super strengths, actually, when you come in my domain, my special interest, aka obsessive interest. But again, utilizing obsessive is something for a neurotypical to have obsessions. We have special interests. We're super focused, super dedicated, super intense, and it's not detrimental for us. Understand? When I study and analyze in the morning and afternoon, when I get back, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna spend a few hours analyzing the news, revising my theoretical analysis of geopolitics, putting it into proponency, and in a parallel manner, to a degree of which, of course, I got to repeat because it's a super important part of my geopolitical work. I predicted what's happening now back in 2019. And I take great pride in that work. So I predicted what's happening now. I predicted it in 2019. I predicted the current crises, geopolitical crisis, verge of World War III. I predicted it back in 2019. And I have proof of work because I have the video. So in October, November, I had concluded that humanity is again set towards an international conflagration. And of course, that we're going to have this new war on the horizon. New war on the horizon. I gave it a little bit of a time frame of about 7 years. So it wasn't necessarily a conclusive that is going to happen by detail, by detail, by detail, by detail. Every detail which has transpired ever since 2019 geopolitically. But in a concordium, of course, the points, of course, which were accorded is that the general situation has followed a similar, a parallel to what I predicted. A parallel, so a similitude. So not exactly all details, but in a general manner. So if I can convoke the best possible way for me to make a summary, because my analysis back then and every day and every week can be pretty intellectual, academic, a bit scholarly, but of course we gotta get doing on that, and that's how we gotta get doing, man. So we gotta get on the rock and roll, to get it doing like that. So that's how we gotta get doing, yeah. So we gotta get to know that fact for sure, and that's the fact is that we are headed towards, and we have been heading. It's not. Some say if it's not started yet. Some say it's possible that it's already commenced. That it has already commenced. That it has already commenced. That it has already commenced with it. So that is basically, of course, the fundamental. The fundamental appellation is, of course, that is the possibility that it has commenced, So that is what it is with that. So yes, it's a possibility that it is already begun, the World War III, in other words. So my premise was, of course, that due to these unresolved conflicts of the 20th century, that those conflicts from the 20th century, specifically from the Cold War period, are going to restart, reshape, rebegin, recommence now in the 21st century. And for the most part, that's what we have been seeing. We have been seeing that with the USSR. The USSR, of course, the solution, of course, is the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine. So that temporarily, in a temporal manner, that conflict can be resolutely drawn back to the 20th century, the Cold War period. To 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 the Cold War period, To the Cold War period. To the Cold War period irresolutely. And of course, China and Taiwan, another one. 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 China and Taiwan, that's another one. Which dates from the 20th century, that is. I see an aspiness right here. I see the numbers blurred, but I wonder how come it's 44 and then a line and 34. So we Aspies are intense about certain weird details that some people would say, what the WTF? What the fuck is that about? But we have, it's an aspiness, Aspie trait and characteristic, not symptoms again. You cannot medicate Asperger's. You cannot medicate Asperger's, you cannot medicate. And of course, Aspies, we have these mutations, Aspies, there's these mutations. These mutations. Aspies have these mutations, and due to these mutations, our brain is wired differently. So we see the world in a different manner. And we are part of a tiny small fraction of the population. There are not a lot of Aspies in the world. So it's less than 1%, as a matter of fact, less than 0.5%, 0.44%. So you can consequently compute and calculate that There is a tiny minority of people like me in the world, and I'm speaking as a North American, Canadian North American, who have this neurological mental divergent condition known as Asperger's, being an Asp. So that's just where the statistics lie, and it's not that common. Not a lot of people know about it, but that's just what it is. So I constantly have to build bridges with neurotypicals, just to be understood properly that only friends with benefits only friends with benefits only friends with benefits only, only friends with benefits only, So only friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance, legion. Support the dream. My dream is fundamentally a public-private partnership. A public-private partnership. A public-private partnership. Beautiful flowers. For the fusion of Canada and United States in a North American collective. Because back to my prediction, of course, I have predicted what's happening now back in 2019, in October, November. So my prediction was several levels of analysis. Again, to summarize it, if I can make a summary of it, just that, a general summary, rather superficial, but nonetheless very, very concordiate, because the concordium is, and the parallel side is, of course, that it was the fact that these unresolved conflicts are going to restart in the 20th century. And that's, for the most part, that's what has been happening. I love that house there. I could split 50-50 with my anonymous friend. Because I don't have many friends. I lost many friends I made, especially at the LGBTQ. Asperger's, okay, I'm going to finalize the last thing on Asperger's. 3 main problems we face, and it's the inability to keep friends long-term friends. Keep long-term friends. Inability to keep long-term friends. One is high unemployment. 80%. This is unacceptable. 80%. 80. I had many jobs, many employments. Many jobs I had, many employments. 80%, and we're a tiny small minority, so it's 11 times higher than the average population. 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 Compute that number, make mathematical notes. So it's unacceptable, right? It's really unacceptable. Yes, we are less able. An N.A.C.W.P is gonna maybe not engage socially that much, especially the gossip things. N.A.C.W.P might be blocked and not understand the gossip, because N.A.C.W.Ps were more towards idea and actions and prones and resolution or conflict by direct discussion, being direct. I know. By more directness, being more direct, So this directness sometimes can also be offensive. Can also be offensive, Not because it's, and we don't mean to be offensive or whatever. Beautiful flowers there. It's not the volition of intense malicious will. It's just that our brains is different. So sometimes we might say things which are in a direct manner and might offend. But just let me know, and if I could excuse myself, apologize, then I will, because feelings are matters, and I suffered struggled, and I got a little bit of suffering myself, a lot, but that's what it is with that, and that's how we gotta get doing with that, and that's how we gotta get the rock and rolling with that, So basically that's what it is. The comportment sometimes can seem weird. Also the bodily movements, there's a tendency towards clumsiness. But the other problem is depression and suicide. Depression and suicide is 9 times higher, and I lived it. I was depressed, I was suicidal. So I was depressed and suicidal. But when I crossed Canada coast to coast in 2017, that event made me come out of being depressed and being suicidal. 2017, I crossed Canada coast to coast. In August, I went in BC, British Columbia. Vancouver, BC, British Columbia, and then Yeah. And the problem is, that I was depressed and suicidal. I was depressed and suicidal. Gotta go. I gotta go. Yeah, I guess so. Urinate and defecate. There's warrior for you. There's warriors for you. And defecate. So the fundamental comportments are vis-a-vis certain strangeness, odd behavior, strangeness, which sometimes can be fundamentally. Just gonna cross the street here. It's one way, so just wanna cross the street brutally, and that's what it is with that, and that's where we're gonna go. So the fundamental appellation is, of course, that we're gonna have to get on the go to get it driven, and that's how we're gonna get it to reach a full understanding, right? Because I was depressed, I was suicidal. So being that I was depressed, suicidal, and again, there's a tendency to stare at objects, stare at people. The tendency to stare. To stare at objects or people. To stare at objects and at people. At people, at objects, close, intense, focused. So that is one of the characteristics. The problem, again, the tripartite problem was the high unemployment is unacceptable. 80% of Asperger community Aspies are unemployed. This is a one way, but I still turn my head left and right because sometimes they can make the mistake, right? Just want to check this beautiful garden. I think it's really well done, how it's kind of like a snake shaped, at least from my gaze, but nonetheless. So I lived being suicidal. I was suicidal, and this is 9 times higher in the Aspen community. Suicidal ideation, suicidal tendency, suicidal thoughts and feelings, emotions, however you want to. I was depressed, suicidal, but what got me out of being depressed, suicidal, was crossing Canada, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Was crossing Canada, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. So when I crossed Canada, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. When I cross Canada, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. That's what got me out of being depressed. I established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians. I established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians, and that's what it is. I established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians. Established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians, and are my family, Quebecers, Canadians, North Americans. Hey, drive safe. I know a lot of people are stressed, but financially stressed, but I don't know, in this neighborhood, this is one of the more affluent, at least economically, financially, commercially, or supposed to be, because, you know, sometimes it's debt, DBT, you know, and overspending and limiting, of course, the budget, and that's what it is. So sometimes that's what we gotta do. Just be mindful and grateful, I guess, because although I'm financially stressed, struggling economically, I'm rich, affluent, wealthy, rock and roll marching steps, and geopolitics, I'm a master, doctor in geopolitics, independent nonetheless. I do have a high school diploma, but all my work in the past years is quite beautiful garden there, I gotta say. How it looks so flashy. Hey, look at that. All down there, how it is, super nice. Just the garden is just gorgeous. Wow. Anyway, so what got me out of being depressed and suicidal was crossing Canada coast to coast. 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 So that made me establish a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians, you know, so with my fellow Canadians. Made me establish a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians. You know, and my brothers and sisters in the US. See how we are now? You see we are in the mountains. Yeah, how far that goes down south, and there's the mountain, and that goes in a slope, and you can see we can still go up. So it still goes up on the parallel street, but see how now it goes down, and sometimes we're over there. So here we're on Westmount, one of the three peaks of the mountain system. Mount Royal proper, and that's what it is with that, and that's what we're gonna get doing, man. So that's something which we have to be mindful about, inconsequential prudence, and that's where we have to situate ourselves in the geographical position that we're on the mountain here, Mount Royal. But the whole three-peak mountain is right between the east and the west. It's called Mount Royal. It's slightly south. It's not exactly in between the pinpoint in the middle between the north and the south, but between the east and the west it is right between the middle. So here we are, and again, just to say that crossing Canada made me come out of being depressed and being suicidal. Before that date, and you know, I have a lot of memory loss, triggered amnesia, because I remember living, so either I moved 2016 July 1st or 2015, so either it's going to be 9 years or 10 years. I lived in a small underground basement. So I lived in a small underground basement. It was a very moldy place. A real moldy place. So that moldy place was, that's what it is with that, and that's what it is, you know. Usually wait about 10 seconds, you know, count, because sometimes there's rust. See how it is? Come on. I don't think you have it in you. Yeah, right. Song, rock and roll. I just channeled a little bit of a rock and roll song. You know, sometimes I get into those rock and roll trances, and that's what I sing with that. And that's what we gotta get doing with that, and we gotta get doing with the go, and doing with the left, and doing with the right, and doing with the left right here, and that's how we're gonna go get it. You know, we gotta go on that drill side of things, and we're gonna get doing on the left and on the right. You know, in the center. So an A.S.P. is different. I'm different, and my difference sometimes can be outwardly expressed with weird characteristics, and those weird characteristics can be confluential and can seem in a confluential manner, of which of course they are on the interest of the A.S.P. to express himself as an individual A.S.P. rather than me as an individual A.S.P. who's part of this tiny community. I cannot express myself fully categorically for all A.S.P.s, of course, but we have general characteristics and general traits which make us weird, abnormal. We're not really normal in the categorical sense of how we function on a daily basis. We have a divergence, and this divergence can sometimes be weird and odd, but we're not, of course. Oh, this is nice. I'm gonna use it actually. It was so clean. Keep it clean, please. So you'll excuse me for a second. No, I'm not gonna send you any pics. No. If you wanna love, yeah, but black, white, rainbow, you know. Black, white. If you're black or white or rainbow, but I'm just gonna pause it for a second while I need to pee. And see, this is another A.S.P. trait. And yes, I did wash my hands. Just keep it clean, please don't. It's a nice green. Keep it clean. See, this is an A.S.P. trait. And this is Polygon, Whiting, Indiana. Whiting, Indiana, what's going on? Somebody hugging in Whiting, Indiana, USA. Somebody hugging? I hope so. Somebody dancing otherwise. Oops. Just gonna, yeah, it's nice. So keep it clean. So I'm glad I used the Axis, and my hands are still wet a bit. I don't want to use too much paper, so I'm just gonna dry it because I use soap and water, but my hands are still wet. And yes, wash your hands, disinfect your hands, of course, after utilizing the public washroom. So just to finalize on Asperger's again, yes, A.S.P.s, we can be weird, odd, and we're different, you know, we are different, and it's difficult for us. Social interactions and socializing can be difficult. 3 things, major problems: depression rates and suicidal rates are super high, 9 times the majority of the neurotypicals, who you are the 99.56% compared to us, less than half of a percentile, less than 1%, that's 0.44%. And of course the high unemployment rate. The high unemployment rate, you know, so. The high unemployment rate is really unacceptable, 80%. So 0.44%, less than 1%. Hey, gotta salute the public workers. Imagine that. Such a high proportion is unacceptable. And of course, that is the high proportion of unemployment. 80% of A.S.P.s unemployed. Go public workers, go. Sing them some rock and roll. Imagine, hey, all the aqueducts. And see, this is geopolitical strategy also, the development of public works. We have to mass invest in the North American Collective, the 10 provinces, 50 states, and 3 territories. But you got to think about it that I can also add that I'm not only a geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, but also a strategist. But I cannot go in depth of my details about the geopolitical strategy, which of course I gotta mention a priori, because such as my total mobile defense theory, and when we add an S to the 4-letter acronym, it's a system. That means that we put it into practice till the end, freighter, soeur, freighters. But nonetheless, final thoughts on Asperger's. Not a mental illness. Yes, in certain things we are less able, less capable, but we have our strengths, especially when it comes to our special interests. And please, it's not a mental illness, it's not an illness, and there's not symptoms. It's characteristics and traits which can impede having long-term friendships and friends, making friends. That's why I draw the line, and friends with benefits only. I'm all about Arbeit, work. Especially my dream, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, which is also practical, because I call for her to put into practice my Trinity theory. So now we're gonna go into my kingdom, which is my special interest as an N.A.C.W.P, which is geopolitics. The NATO summit. We have to generalize whatever other untowns and details of it. We have to say that the major, most important point is the agreement to increase in defense. Now, 5%, as I am calling for the Dragon Army, the North American Integrated Imperial for SSD Legion, and this SSD Legion, the Dragon Army, can be extended from NORAD, Canada, United States, from North America, because my dream is fundamentally the fusion of the North and the South, Canada, United States, for the 63, but in a public-private partnership manner, That's the dream, fundamentally, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. But it can be extended to the NATO complex, because most of my work, theoretical, analytical, and strategical, because my initiatives, furthermore, the positions and the initiatives and the protocols and the implementation of several geopolitical strategy programs, which are fundamentally public-private partnership based, are for the North American Collective, but they can be extended to the NATO complex. They can be extended to NATO complex, to NATO. They can be extended to NATO. The NATO complex. To the NATO complex. So they can be extended to NATO, in other words. But of course, other geopolitical strategies cannot be furtherance. To further that to the NATO complex, of which we added Sweden, right? So that is the main fundamental aspect which we're gonna have to initialize. Now I'm gonna make a geopolitical dictum for my fellow Quebecers, Canadians, and my brothers and sisters in the USA, as related to us. And this is a constant, and this is a yes. This is a yes. So there's no maybe or no. This is a yes. Categorically, you have to say yes to this following geopolitical statement. Geopolitical real statement. Analytical, theoretical, strategical as well. Strategical as well definitely includes all the 3 aspects of geopolitics. All the geopolitical strategies and actions. All the geopolitical strategies and actions. I don't want you polluting here, gonna go by the side. So this is something which has to be implemented, Here I gotta wait to cross the street a few seconds, and then we're gonna go in it. So our fundamental number one interest when it comes to foreign affairs, so this is distinct from internal domestic affairs. When it comes to foreign affairs, outside exterior politics, diplomacy, etc., 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 as Quebec are Canadians, as vice versa, as Americans, brothers and sisters in the USA. Look at those beautiful yellow flowers, so beautiful and gorgeous. Feel like drinking some lemonade. Feel like lemon blue, beautiful. Another blue, nice. So our main interest, geopolitically, our external diplomatic foreign affairs, number one foreign affairs diplomatic external political concern is to have the best, most cordial relations, economic relations, political relations, commercial relations, defense, security, cultural, socio-economical, etc., relations with each other. Canada, United States. That's why my protocols, my initiatives for the fusion thereof, strong public-private partnership, whereas we're going to rebuild the ghettos as well, and build those 44 tunnels, and mass finance citizens fitness activities, mass finance fitness activities. You know, those fundamental stratagems are for a strategic North American collective, the fusion thereof of the kingdom for the 21st century dominion, the Imperial North American centric dominion of our empire. The Democratic Republican People's Empire. Kingdom. So this continuance, furtherance, is of course something which we have to be solidifying as the individual liberty and security and wellness and prosperity and rehabilitation of my brothers and sisters. Because I sing that rock and roll for my brothers and sisters, firefighters, the boys and girls in blue, armed forces, the boys and girls in blue, armed forces, the boys and girls in blue, the armed forces, the boys and girls in blue, the armed forces, and I also gotta sing that rock and roll for my brothers and sisters of the 63, the 10 provinces, 50 states, and 3 territories who do their criminal rehabilitation. 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 If you take your second, third chances, Dragon gotta sing that rock and roll for you. And I'm proud of you. Big loving. I admire that. I salute that. I commend that. I'm gonna now cross to salute and commend this beautiful garden. Wow, I love it. See how? So what I love is the steps. How it's step by step. So in our geopolitical strategy and the fusion of Canada and the United States, we have to go step by step as well. One of those primary steps is the implementation of the DRT, the debt refusion theory. The DRT. Oh, I'm gonna go show the snake again. The snake. I gotta show the snake here. My snake. It's not my snake, but see how this is? It looks like a coil serpent snake, and that's the head. Like a cobra, big anaconda with the head there. See? It's just so gorgeous. It looks like a snake is in it, and the head is, like you see, like in a circular manner. So that's what it is with that, and that's what it is with the go, you know. So we're gonna get on the go, you know. So that's what it is with that, and that's what it is for the left, for the right, for the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, firefighters. Oh yeah, the crow, that's another omen. That's the fourth one. After the 3 comes the 4th dimension, flew above my head. So that's a blessing, omen, good omen for the dragon army. For the sun and the moon and the stars, black and white and rainbow. You are no longer what you were before. You are now potential dragons. Dragon's army are sworn to defend thee. For the empire, for the 10, 50, 60, and 363. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. So geopolitical theoretical analyst and strategist. The strategy is fundamentally for the 21st century North American collective, integrated, fused North-South Canada, United States, Dominion, Kingdom together. And by establishing 2 cooperative, complementary, covenant and cooperative new institutions, the Dragon Army, aka the North American Imperium, SSD, SSD Legion, and Dragon Army, and Dancing Goddess Army, and Dancing Goddess Army for the North American Integrated Dance League. North American Integrated Dance League. To be for the environment, and I wish I could get 50-50 on this house here for my anonymous friend. Anybody want to tell me how exactly? Because in a parallel life, I'm a super scientist. How do the apps track via the net, the internet? I guess the 3G, 4G, 5 towers, I know everything can be tracked. Consequently, everything can be tracked in theory and intercepted in theory. But you know those apps, DoorDash, Uber, Alchemy, and I was doing an analysis on that. How vulnerable we are vulnerable, eh? We are really vulnerable at this point in time. We have involved ourselves in massive conflicts, of which different countries have solidified their alliance, especially BRICS. So if these nation states decide to foment internal discord in Canada and United States due to our several vulnerabilities, which we have vulnerabilities, they can be exploited and we can be sabotaged, eh? It's a big problem. I just saw in the news that there has been some questions about sleeper cells, because the United States decided, well, actually not the whole United States, 344 million, right, with us 44 million Canadians, but the administration of Donald Trump, and you know it's Dragon versus Trump, have been and will challenge Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. That's for sale. And I love that. Those red. But geopolitically, Donald Trump, Granddaddy Trump, made a mistake to impose tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. That was a mistake because fundamentally our geopolitical interest is to have the best, most cordial relations with each other, you know. So basically, fundamentally, that is our main interest. Our main interest is to have the best relations with each other. Fundamentally, the core essence is to have the best, most cordial relations with each other. There's just no other way around it. So that's just fundamentally. So that's why my integral propositions for the public-private partnership best, because there's no going around that. Fundamentally, in essence, our number one geopolitical priority is to have the best, most cordial economic, social, political relations with each other. Most cordial political relations with each other, you know. With each other. That is just what it is, and that's just what it is with that. There's no way around it. This is just the geopolitical reality. So the geopolitical imperial strategy, which we're going to follow, is the implementation of my trinity of theories. So for the leaders of Quebec, Canada, and the United States, this is a constant. The fact that our primary external political interest is to have the most cordial economic, financial, commercial, monetary, social, cultural, sports relations with each other. There's just no way around it. There's just no way around it. That's what it is. So that's what we're gonna get doing. And that's what we're gonna get on that rock and roll, man. That's the future, you know. So that is just our interest, primary interest, and this is a constant, just like the pi symbol, the mathematical pi symbol. So this mathematical pi symbol represents a constant. So that is a mathematical constant. Just like the pi symbol represents 3.1416, the relation between the diameter and the circumference in relation to the circle, right? So that is our main interest, to have the best, most cordial, diplomatic relations with each other. Quebec, Canada. Concordially for the US is the same as it is for us. So it's a vice versa, reciprocal statement. Application of the statement is reciprocal. So this is a constant again, geopolitical constant. It has been so in the 20th century, it is so today, and it will be so in the 21st century. The king is absent. My fellow Canadians, the king is absent, the king is absent, the king is absent. It's time for the Republic. It's time for us to fuse in the 21st century. My way best, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, my public-private partnership best. And I'm a democratic Republican. I'm a centrist, pro-labor and love, universal revolutionary centrist, because we cannot have the middle classes disappear, just drown in debt. What's happening? We have to have the solidification and the concordium of the individual sovereignty via some insurance of freedom and general overall wellness. Not to get overly, I was about to get a bit overly sophisticated about general wellness, but nonetheless, consequentially, that we need to finance mass tourism. Mass tourism is what got me out of being depressed and suicidal, and established a strong esprit de corps and had a revelation, was crossing Canada coast to coast. I say, wow, so many great things, and our lands, resources and lands, would open arms. We're gonna fuse with our brothers and sisters in the United States, but we have to make a compromise to rebuild the ghettos, rebuild the cities, and have healthcare and mass rehabilitation of the criminal population, incarcerated population, and mass building of those 44, constructing 44 tunnels, and building the 44 tunnels, the 44 tunnels. The 44 tunnels. In case of a thermonuclear war across the 63, look at that beautiful architecture. Isn't that just gorgeous? All of this architecture is kind of mixed of the old school, and then we're going to get to the new school, the skyscrapers of the 20th century and 21st century there at the corner when we turn it. So fundamentally, in essence, that is our interest. There's no way around that. There's no and no maybe. Our main interest, external political affairs, diplomatic. When it comes to foreign affairs outside of the domestic realm for both Canada and the United States, it is our main interest to have the best, most cordial relations, economic, financial, commercial, cultural, social, political, otherwise sports, cultural, with each other. There's just no other way around it. And that's just where we have to implement my Trinity theories with that, and that's how we gotta get doing with that, and they gotta get it on the essence, and we gotta get it for some work and arbeit, and it's work. We got a lot of work to do, and we're gonna get rid of that border. We have to fuse in a way that we open our resources, our lands for the further development, but we have to have some safety safeguard for securing individual liberty, but also for establishing a strong esprit de corps, for having programs of a social nature, for example, mass financing fitness, citizens for fitness and workout, train, exercise, and also mass finance volunteering, and also mass finance tourism, tourism. Those are just things which we have to get in the complementary of the things which we have to be on alert for while we're going to be fusing Canada and the United States. So I don't want to get overly philosophical, intellectual about the need for financing mass tourism, because I wrote that document after 2017 when I crossed Canada coast to coast, and that document is somewhere on USB keys, but pretty much all my work which I'm referring to is post 2017. After I crossed Canada in that summer 2017, and this August is going to be 8 years. And then I went in September 2017, I crossed and I went to BC. For BC I went in August, Vancouver, British Columbia, and then on Halifax, there's the skyscraper. In Halifax, I went, of course, I got 10 seconds. Enough to plus. So I went, of course, in Halifax. Went in Halifax, and that's what it is with that. Went in Halifax, BC, and that's what it's gonna go doing, man. Beautiful yellow flowers. So I went in Halifax, British Columbia. Halifax, BC, British Columbia. In September 2017. So of course that is something which we have to be on the formulation side of things, and we have to get it on that formulations, So what I'm gonna do, instead of working through here, I'm gonna go all the way around about it. So I'm gonna go around like that, because I want to get into the sun. I mean, I want to go into the sun and just go around about it. So here we go. So I'm gonna get to the DRT, super important, but here we are. We kind of made it on the mountain, and I just want to see a little bit of these flowers, and then we're gonna come back, go to the top, and come back, exit via here, because I wanted to change a bit of the route, you know, and admire some of these flowers. See, by the mountain here, Mount Royal, my second home. My second home here, Mount Royal, and admire some of these beautiful and beautiful bushes, beautiful flowers, and just get a little bit more sunshine as we go, and that's what we're gonna get doing on the drill, and we're gonna get doing on the go, and that's how we gotta formulate, you know. Here we got the mountain, my second home, we got big buildings, and we gotta get that drill, and we gotta get that DRT, and the way to fuse Canada via the implementation of the DRT, debt refusion theory, which we must do, and we got to complementary do it via the CIT as well, citizen integration theory, and the DFT, the democratic fusion theory. As we go now towards the King, my Pope, the sun is shining very strongly. I'm gonna put some of those glasses on. Give me a sec. Take off my hat. Take off my hat and discuss the DRT. So, the DRT, debt refusion theory, is my theory. The DRT theory calling for the implementation across the North American civilian population and the North American centric base for the 10 provinces, 50 states, and 3 territories, and that's how we're gonna do on that, and that's how we're gonna get that rock and roll, and we're gonna drill, and that's how we're gonna get that beautiful rocks. So yours truly as it is, that's how we're gonna get on that formidable, beautiful rocks. So the debt refusion theory, the debt refusion theory is the solution. The only solution actually for where we are with the financing. Where we are with the financing. We are with the financing. Where we are with the financing. The financial elements. See how it is? It looks like a fortress. It looks like a fortress. It looks like a fortress. Oh, it's actually a natural fortress, right? So the DRT, debt refusion theory, we're gonna take all the, again, why do I make the statement that it is the solution? Well, since we have reached record levels of debt. Record levels of debt. Usually we go sometimes through here like that. So there's several ways you can go ascend the mountain. Several ways you can ascend the mountain. So because we have record debt, record debt, record debt, individual debt and collective debt. The public debt has reached record levels of the public debt, record levels of the public debt, record levels of the public debt. That's what it has reached, record levels of the public debt, you know, because we paid consequently more interest. And of course we have to revise and say why the motive behind the record interest and the record public debt due to the coronavirus, the COVID programs which had to be implemented. Myself, of course, I'm triple vaxxed. I had COVID, I survived COVID. I survived being depressed. Live with that retrograde amnesia. You know, I survived being attacked by surprise. A few years ago, I used to live in that moldy underground prison-like cell. I guess I served my time, you know, like a prison type of cell, very small underground, very tiny, smaller than a prison cell, I guess. Very moldy, and I was attacked by surprise. Montreal Metro, I fell, hit my head on the concrete. So that is where I used to live, you know. Used to live there. Used to live there, used to live there, used to live there. Used to live there, you know, so that's where I used to live. So I fell, was bloodied up. Consequence, was bloodied up, you know, so bloodied up and survived and lived that and tick. Yeah. So fundamentally, in essence, that's what it is. The essence is that we have the coronavirus, which made us vulnerable economically, the whole world, because we had lockdowns. So we had to implement certain programs, protocols, which have made that we paid more interest. Made us that we paid more interest on the public debt. More interest on the public debt than before. More interest, right? Way more interest on the public debt than before. So that's what it is. So due to the fact that we paid more interest on the public debt than before, this interest has augmented, has increased the characteristic, the capacity has increased of this debt. This debt has increased, and that's what it is with that, and that's what it is for the go. So this debt has increased the interest. And check the numbers, you gotta double check, but nonetheless, it's not sustainable since our economy now even more vulnerable because of the tariffs have even increased some more. Has 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 even increased some more. So due to the fact that this has increased, it is consequentially and prudent to say that this increase cannot be sustained because there's no major FDI, foreign direct investment, and consequently our economy, as much as we want to spin it and make deals and etc., 85% of our exports go to the US. We have to be realistic about that. 85%. That's $85 out of every 100. 85%. Oh, I like that. See, oh, it's nice yellow there. In the corner cluster, little flowers. Anyways. So consequently, that is our main characteristic. Economically, that is our main, not characteristic, but yes, characteristics of our export business, of our external economy, not internal domestic economy, but externally we're 85%. It's $8 out of $8.5 out of every $10. There's just no way out of that, right? It's just the fundamental economic, mathematical economics. And I gotta give some salutation to the Department of National Defense. Department of National Defense. As in here. So that's what it is here. We gotta paint this red. Gotta sing a little bit of that salutation on that go, and that's what it is, and that, and this is the Canadian Armed Forces. It needs a little bit of rebuild. Gotta salute the Canadian Armed Forces. We're gonna, of course, get it on the Dragon Army, and that's what we're gonna get doing with that, and that's what we're gonna get doing, you know. So we're gonna have to be consequently involved. But noise, man, noise. You hear that? That's the grasshoppers. 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 That's grasshoppers, man. And I like these kind of flowers how it is here. Probably they're not gonna get cut, especially the yellow ones. Okay, so we're gonna get down to business, not further deviate from the topic. I was just imagining the general army staff doing my workout, because I have created a general war integrated total body training system, a workout training program system, which I created back in 2019 to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario. And in 2019 in 2019 in 2019 in 2019 in 2019 in 2019 in 2019. So consequently, that's what it is, and that's what it is with that. Consequently, in 2019, that's what I created. 2019. I performed myself more than 372 sessions of my workout training program system. So check the videos. That's when I reached 300. I said that's when I turned that A into a no, That A into a no. That A into a no. That A into a no, That A into a no. Then that A into a no. Of my surname, that is. Nobody's born a dragon. Motto of the Dragon Army is nobody's born a dragon. So I was just imagining them performing my workout training program system, officially titled the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, because that's what it was made for. It was made integrally to go hand in hand with an emergency scenario where the population would need to mobilize, and in such a World War III scenario, when for defense would have to get a bit in a standard fitness. So it requires no equipment. It is based on science, a simple science. And that simple science, of course, revolves around the scientific, the body, especially that it is meant to increase general overall fitness. General overall fitness. So that is also known as the Dragon Army. The Dragon Army workout. Blah, 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 blah. Try it for yourself. See if you endeavor to continue doing it or not. Or if you can do it, if you're potentially a Dragon Army member. Is the standard examination, for the Dragon Army, the standard examination. And I'm gonna go a little bit on it, and then I'm gonna finish the DRT, the transfusion T. So the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, one is allocated 93 minutes to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hawks. That trinity of triggers. Once you start the countdown, the 93 minutes exactly, 93 minutes, 44 seconds, and 9/11 of a second. So almost 45 seconds. So 93 minutes and almost 45 seconds. The official time is 93 minutes, 44 seconds, and 9/11. So the fraction, 9 divided by 11, right? So it's almost 45 seconds, but not quite. So it's 93 minutes, 44 seconds, and 9/11. The official. Hey, look at that chipmunk. Chipmunk, 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 chipmunk. We got chipmunks here on the mountain. Rabbits and other birds. Hawk, hawk, hawk. My totem bird, the H-A-W-K, the hawk, hawk. And of course we got rabbits and that chipmunk that you just saw. And we got groundhogs and we got raccoons. So please don't pollute, especially if you venture in the forest on this mountain. My second home here, Mount Royal, where we have arrived. My second home, Mount Royal, with these beautiful tiny clusters of flowers. The General Integrated Total Body Training System is a total body workout training program system which requires no equipment. It is effective, simple, and efficient. And of course, these are the categories which one has to do. So one is allocated 93 minutes and almost 45 seconds, 93 minutes, 44 seconds, and 9/11 of a second. One can do maximum 13 reps per set, minimum 3, anywhere in between 13 and 3, anywhere in between 13 and 3. So one is involved, if he's involved, to do anywhere between those population. So it's four general operations where we have to get doing on the go with that, and we gotta get doing on the left and on the right. We gotta get doing on the left and on the right and on the set and on the left, so that's what we gotta get doing like that, and so we gotta get doing for the left and for the right, So 93 minutes and 44 seconds, almost 45, 9/11 is okay. To do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hawks. 13 maximum reps you can do, and 3. Anywhere in between 13 and 3, those two numbers go hand in hand. They go together, 13 and 3, right? Beautiful flowers. So those are the numbers once you reach 100. But once you start the countdown of the 93 minutes and 44 seconds and 9/11 of a second, you cannot pause. You got to keep it in motion by marching or jogging or running. So you cannot pause. You cannot pause. You cannot pause. You got to keep it rolling. If you pause and you stop, then you got to try again later or the next day. So you got to be able to do it within those parameters. 93 minutes, 44 seconds. 13 reps per set, 3 minimum. So until you reach 300, 100 push-ups, hawks, and squats. You might know what push-ups and squats are. Squats, you go up and down, right? Or you bend those knees. And hawks is the one that's kind of my creation, although it's basically a little bit on that jumping jack with that a little bit on the jumping jack. A little bit on a jumping jack, but it's not really a jumping jack. You got to go on the toes as a ballerina and spread your wings like a bird. Basically, your wings are your arms. Spread your arms like a bird, like in a circular manner, up and down. So basically that's what it entails, the hawk. You can check out my workout training program system, and maybe in the coming days, weeks, and whatever the case may be, I'm gonna do a throwback on that, and I'm gonna do a throwback on that, So that's what it is, and that's what we gotta get doing, man. And that's where we're gonna go hydrate, and then we're gonna get to the discussion of the DRT. But here I can take my main out and let my main out with that drill, and that's where we're gonna put it on and let that main out, Let the main out. Because we're gonna go in the wild here and see a little bit of that hydration, because I'm really under thirst. See when they're gonna do some hoops, do some jumping with that. Oh yeah. There's some of that good stuff, and skateboarders. I love to watch. I don't have one, but here we're gonna get our ATE. Usually I wait about 10 seconds, 5 seconds, more 20 seconds, but to clear the pipes, super important to clear those pipes, and gonna get to see who's doing some skating there. You can come relax, and you have a lake there. You have a lake, so if you so feel inclined, just come and chill out and relax and have a good time. And that's here at the mountain, you know, my second home. That's where we be, and that's where we're gonna go around about and then exit on the side here, you know. Oh yeah, man. That one's a bit hot. And if you like hockey here, hockey history here. Jean Beliveau, you see, he's got two. He's drinking two, he's overly thirsty. So this is where Jean Beliveau scored his 500 goal in the NHL. 11th of February. 500th goal. So those skates are Jean Belivau's from the Habs when they used to win a lot. If you're into hockey culture, hockey history, those are Jean Belivau's skates right here on the picture. 11th of February 1971. His 500 goal. Quite an achievement, I guess. I'm not much of a hockey. I love hockey watching, but I can't watch. I watch a little bit of hockey, but I can't play. I guess I can play, but I'm probably not that good, I guess. But that's what we got, and that's what we're gonna get doing with that, and that's what we gotta get doing for the goal. And they're gonna get it on the left side, and another chipmunk here, and that's what we're gonna get doing with that. And they're gonna get on that left and on that right, and that's what we're gonna go doing with that, you know. So it's something which we have to be mindful of the privilege here we have, the mountain, and keep it clean and keep it hygienic and just no violence, you know. I don't like violence. I was bloodied up, attacked by surprise, so I am hyper vigilant. I live in a hyper vigilant manner, you know, but it's something which we have, and that's what we have to get doing on that, and we have to get doing on the left, right, Z, and we gotta get doing on the left, you know. So yeah, man. That's how we are here, man. I'm gonna drink from this one. I just want to see if there's a considerable difference. Oh, this one doesn't work. Okay, whatever. Alright. So now we're gonna go around about. I'm gonna go internally, and we're gonna focus on the DRT. But yeah, my memory blacks out. I have a good memory of the past 7, 8, 9 years. Then 10, it's kind of blurred. And after 2015, 2014. It kind of goes on a little bit of that, blackout, you know. Gotta get it on the go, you know, so. And so we got. We gotta get drilling, you know, so we gotta get drilling on that, and we gotta get on that appellation, man, you know. So the DRT, retrofusion theory now. So try my workout again, whatever, try, see if we can go, whatever, if not, whatever. DRT, retrofusion theory. DRT, retrofusion theory, integrated in my DRT theory is integrated monetary integration theory. Inside the monetary integration theory, of course, is the monetary integration theory integrated in my DRT. What is the monetary integration theory? Is the financial theory which was integrated, implemented in the European Union, in the European Union. And that theory was, of course, their destruction of their own national central banks. The Germans destroyed their national central banks, the Italians, the French as well. Also other countries, when they created the ECB. The ECB, the European Central Bank, which is a central bank for many nations, many countries in Europe, right? It functions exactly as a central bank. So they no longer have their national central banks, the Germans, the Italians, the French. So we're going to have to integrate and do and implement the DRT theory, the debt refusion theory, the DRT, the debt refusion theory, the DRT. So we're gonna have to implement my DRT theory again because of where we are with too much debt. In parallel with the public financial crisis, we have the private financial crisis of the fellow citizens who, the majority, have suffered from the increasing the prices. Prices keep increasing. The cost of living keeps increasing. The cost of living keeps increasing. Not only does it keep increasing, but the cost of living keeps increasing parallel. In the past 5 years, in February 2020, and COVID for me was like death, pestilence, and disease. COVID for me was like death, pestilence, and disease. COVID was like death, pestilence, and disease. I thought I was gonna die, and I survived, and that's what it is with that, and that's how we're gonna get doing. So COVID for me was like death, pestilence, and disease, and that's how we're gonna get drilling with that. So being that COVID was like death, pestilence, and disease, I made it, of course, to be consequently on the prudent side of things. Death, pestilence, and disease, and that's how we gotta get doing with that, and to get it on the go and get it on the left. So basically the consequential thing is that we have over indebtedness, and the problem is the maxed out credit cards. There's a record credit card debt, and this applies for not just Canada, but Canada and United States. Canada and United States. In a parallel life, I know everything about that tower. 5G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and television, radio, and I guess it's related to communications. Cause I think those small ones, I see it blurred a bit. I see that blurred because I was prescribed some glasses, but financially I'm gonna have to postpone it because financially stressed, whatever the case may be. But nonetheless, you can see there that, of course, we have some of those. I'm just gonna get out of the way, my fellow citizens. But in a parallel life, I know all the technical details about the design of antennas and satellites and telecommunications. But in this life, I don't know much about it, you know. So that's what it is, and that's what it is, and that's where we gotta go. And yeah, man, that's what it is. So basically, I know I'm a super scientist, Asp. I also have Asperger's in a parallel life. But in this life, I just know a little bit. So anybody want to give me more information about that tower, and that tower, of course, how it's linked? That tower is, of course, linked with other towers and telecommunications and satellites and supercomputers and microchips and ICBM rockets. That's what I do. I construct them. In the parallel life, I'm that super scientist. Also have Asperger's. In this life, I guess I'm a super geopolitical theoretical analyst and strategist, which part of the geopolitical strategy for the 21st century is the DRT, the debt refusion theory. The debt refusion theory. So the DRT, the debt refusion theory. Focus on the DRT now. It includes monetary integration theory, monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt. We have to, because with the credit card debt keeps increasing. In the past days, past weeks, past months, past years, we've seen Canada and United States, this applies binationally. That's why we're going to have to implement my DRT theory binationally, by the way. Canada and United States joined for the 63, 10 provinces, 50 states, and 3 territories. That's 63 new states in the empire together. And the DRT, we have to, because listen, the parallel to the prices of the cost of living keeps increasing, the prices keep increasing, and the credit card debt The credit card debt, the credit card debt, you know? The credit card debt, the credit card debt. The credit card debt. The credit card debt, the credit card debt. I know we know, man. Embarrassing to say. Delicious. Look at that, that's a beaver, see? A beaver, man. That's a little beaver there, see the beaver? Look at that. I don't need to chase you. There's another one there, grazing. I don't need to chase you. I got food in my backpack. I'm just gonna put the glasses on and finish with the DRT. Watch it here, sometimes the bikes come. And if you go here, watch it. Hey. So here we are in my second home, the Mount Royal, and that's what we're gonna get observing about, and that's what we're gonna get rock and rolling, man. So we're gonna get doing, man. So here we are, you know, the notation, So the DRT, debt refusion tree, integrates monetary integration tree, which is the financial tree which was implemented in the European Union. So we're gonna take and watch the branches here, eh? See the branches? This fell, and that fell, and this one fell, see? These are all branches which have fallen like that one. This one's big, so be prudent. That one's about to fall, that one's dangerous, don't see? It's just sticking there with some wind, it's gonna blow. So we're gonna take all public and private debt. Again, we have no choice because there's a double trouble economic, financial, commercial problem for both Canada and United States citizens. Majority of citizens, not all, because some are multi-millionaires, billionaires. Don't be so selfish. Finance the dream and support the DRT, the debt refusion theory. Has to be implemented in a binational manner, and it takes a public and a private partnership. It takes a public and a private partnership for it to be implemented. It takes a public and a private partnership. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt. All the public and the private debt. Please, no, don't. This could be eaten by a squirrel, a chipmunk, what you saw. I don't mind y'all drinking, but just don't pollute. It's good. Probably you got alimentation poivre et sel. That's good. From where? Poivre et sel, where was it? Let's see the address. In Montreal, yeah, poivre et sel somewhere. Rue Masson, but please, this has to be recycled. This can be swallowed by a rabbit, a chipmunk, that beaver we just saw. So don't, unless you dropped it by mistake. It's possible. I have to give people benefit of the doubt, because I don't know if you just decided to just drop it there. But I give people the benefit of the doubt, but don't just put it in a recycling. That goes into recycling, right? So please. So the DRT, debt refusion tree, which includes monetary integration tree, we have no choice but to implement it due to this double problematic stance. Whence we have the growing interest rates. Well, not that they're growing, but people are paying more interest, right? Because they're growing credit card debt. Obviously, there's a growing interest payments. Not necessarily the percentage that is bigger in terms of how much percentage. I don't have credit cards. I have a credit line to the RBC. I pay 10.44. So not even 11. It used to be, but the Bank of Canada just in the past 7 months dropped the rate by 4 times. So it went from 13.3 to 10.44 now. So, but anyways, the point is that it's not sustainable because the salaries have stagnated while the prices of goods have increased disproportionately. Even my goods, you see somebody sometimes in my videos, I made the calculations for the wafers, which I used to buy for $1, and that's what it is with that. And now before that they were $1.25, $1.25, and that's what it is with that. And they're gonna get it on the go. So from $1 to $1.25, that was an initial 25%, and now it's $1.39. So that's what it is, and that's what we're gonna get doing on that, and that's what we got. So that's you have to keep in mind. We're gonna get doing on that, and we're gonna get on the left, right, Z, and we gotta get it on the left, and that's what we have to be doing. The DRT, the debt refusion theory, you know. So that's how it is, and that's what it is, and that's what it is, and just the financial numbers. You cannot argue with the financial numbers. So the DRT, now I'm gonna explain it as simple and less academic terms and scholarly terms. But bottom line is that the interest has so much increased that it cannot be sustained. So we can't sustain it. It's not sustainable, right? So we're going to take all the public and the private debt, my $10,000, your $10,000, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all that debt, public and private debt, we're going to convert it into US dollars, and we're going to add it with the US dollar. Right? We're going to add it with the US dollar, and together we're going to create a new currency called the UE. U dot universal, U dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, U dot exchange, U dot unit. The UE. U dot universal, U dot exchange, U dot unit. The universal exchange unit is going to have, of course, the value of the US dollar. We're going to set an interest rate level of 10%, 10% maximum, 10%. It could be, of course, less than 10%, not more, but of course that is the consequential things in Appellation where we're going to have to be initializing to do it. And with this currency, and this creation of this new currency, we're gonna build more hydroelectric dams in Quebec, rebuild the infrastructure, rebuild mass finance fitness, get rid of the border, do a census, a great North American collective census. Whence we're gonna create a new passport. We're gonna finance laying the foundational presentation of the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, the Dancing Goddess Army, aka North American Integrated Death League, with the Dragon Army, aka North American Integrated SSD Legion. Only the Dragon Army, only via my new 911 Dragon 911 North American Collective Protocols, the new 911 Dragon SSD principles and protocols to stay and be only coast to coast, ocean to ocean for the 63 4S. SD, for SSD, security, service, and defense, security, service, and defense, security, service, and defense, and security, service, and defense, and that's what it is. Security, service, and defense, and that's what it is for that. And security, service, and defense, and we gotta get it for the left, for the right, and for the Z, and we're gonna get it on the Appellation here. That means that thunder. So the security, service, and defense protocols, that's what we're gonna get doing, and that's what we're gonna get on that rock and roll, man. So we're gonna take all the public-private debt again. We have no choice but to implement my DRT, debt refusion treaty, because, and due to the case and to the point is, the fundamental point is that we have reached record levels debt, both public and private. Canada and United States in a similar precarious proposition and similar situation. So there's no way but to implement the DRT theory, the debt refusion theory, for the creation of the universal exchange unit. And why the creation of this universal exchange unit, and then the implementation of my DRT, debt refusion theory, which integrates in my theories integrated monetary integration theory, thus creating a new central bank, Canada joint United States central bank, and of course a new central bank for Canada, United States, and of course this new consequential universal exchange unit, universal exchange unit, universal exchange unit, universal exchange unit. So that's what it is. That's what it is for the drill, and that's what we're gonna get doing. The DRT theory, we're gonna implement the debt refusion theory, the DRT, the debt refusion theory to be implemented via the trinity of theories, and that's how we're gonna get doing on that bird side of things. And we have to implement the DRT. So there's no way out of this, as we're gonna go around about it, and we're gonna go check a little bit of that good loving here in the side of the trees, in the forest. So the DRT theory, the debt refusion theory, fundamentally, of course, is the solution, but it can be modified, of course, in a certain way, where it can be certain modifications being done and being made, but fundamentally it has to be representative, and it has to be parallel to the principles outlined in my DRT theory. The fact that we have reached record levels of debt is the fact that we cannot sustain this level of debt, and that is of course clear for all to see that we are on the verge of a public and private financial collapse, because many citizens, the majority of citizens, have increased their debt, and there's record-breaking credit card debt, has been reported by all the major financial networks and news and banks and financial institutions, both public and private, of course. It's not sustainable. Dude, it could be sustainable, but it's not, because the prices, the cost of living, the prices of goods keep increasing and have increased in the past 5 years, while the salaries have not. That's the problem. The salaries, that's why we got so many strikes. More strikes than I have ever lived in my life. Well, because my memory, like I said, 2014, I can go 2015, but beyond that, I don't have personal memories, although, retrograde amnesia is either caused by trauma or concussion or prolonged illness or even alcoholism or drug use, extensive drug use, maybe, I don't know. Maybe before 2014 I was an alcoholic. I drank liquor, booze, and did drugs that my memory is blackout. Those parts of my memory, and the trauma and the drugs and the abuse, all the scars that I live on me, maybe that. But you don't lose with that type of retrograde amnesia RA, you don't lose linguistic capabilities, or of course the language you don't lose, linguistic capabilities you don't lose, and you don't lose mathematical knowledge of mathematics. So it's not too overly complex mathematics. The mathematics behind my DRT theory and theory is simple. It has to be implemented. The point is that we are on the verge of a public and private financial collapse. We cannot sustain it. It's the majority of workers and overworked and exhausted and tired. We need the DRT. We have to implement it, the DRT. Are we in a recession, or is the depression commenced? So my DRT theory, we're going to take all the public and private debt, all the public and the private debt, we're going to convert it into US dollars. All the public and the private debt, we're going to convert it into US dollars, Canada coast to coast, including my $10,000. That money, we're going to add it with the US dollar. We're going to add with the US dollar, and all that money is going to be together creating this new currency called the UE, U.Universal, E.Exchange, U.Unit, U.Universal, E.Exchange, U.Unit. That's what money is, basically, fundamentally. It can be extended, NATO countries and beyond, but it fundamentally for North America. But we could, in theory, create a NATO-centric bank. NATO-centric, the NATO countries integrated in the military political alliance solidified by the implementation of the trinity of theories aforementioned. So the DRT, the debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange, that's what they got, and that's what we're gonna keep doing. So basically, fundamentally, and in essence, we're gonna have to implement the DRT, the debt refusion theory, for the creation of the universal exchange, and for the universal exchange, and for the universal exchange, and universal exchange, and universal exchange, and universal exchange in it. And with that, we're gonna cap the interest of 10%. it's not going to be able to be more than 10% after that. So we're going to have a 10% maximum interest rate. It could be below. Well, with that money, we're going to mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. We're going to mass finance citizens for fitness. We're going to mass finance citizens for fitness. We're going to mass finance citizens to increase in tourism activity for general overall wellness. It is based on one of my documents, and we're going to mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise, and we're going to mass finance, of course, citizens to exercise. We're going to mass finance citizens for the theoretical analysis. We're going to mass finance the building of the 44, the building of the 44, the building of the 44 tunnels in case of a thermonuclear war. We're going to gotta build those 44, build more hydroelectric dams, finance for the SSD, the Golden Hawk. We're going to put a hawk in the Golden Dome for total defense, for SSD, total security, total service, and total defense. That's how we're going to get doing with that for the drills, and that's how we're going to get doing on the XYZ for the left and for the right, and for the black and the white and the rainbow, and legions or who are in the fundamental theorizing of the discussions of the North American civilizational complex. And that's how we're gonna get drilling with that, man. It's something which we have to be doing on the doing of the now and the then, and that's how we're gonna get doing on the left, man. So something which we gotta be proponent of all of that XYZ here as we got, and that's what they got. And that's what I got, and that's how we have to do, the DRT, the lateral fusion theory, and that's how we have to be fundamentally on the consequence of the XYZ to make it the implementation of the XYZ loving things. And so we gotta get doing on that, and something which we have to be doing as soon as possible, because we're on the verge of a financial collapse. We're on the verge of a financial collapse, and so we have to be implementing INSEP. So the DRT, lateral fusion theory, we're gonna get doing on the left and right and in the middle, and that's how we gotta get doing for the left, and we're gonna get it for the lovers, man. The butchers, the bakers, the truckers. Truckers on the road. I'm thinking about the truckers now integrally, something which we gotta get doing on that trucker side of things, and we can see it in their face. I see it. Gotta get that hydration. So something which we have, man. It's gotta thank those builders. Imagine building all this, got a building on that XYZ, and we got a building on the left and on the right and in the middle and on the right, and we gotta get it on the left and on the left and right and in the middle, we gotta get it on the love side of things. We love our butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, and firefighters, and the plumbers, and all those electricians, the butchers, the nurses, and the doctors, and gotta get on that XYZ, man. It's something which we gotta be, man. Gotta be all on the now. It doesn't work. Free from that. I got it. I never thought I was gonna see that, man. Welcome to the new. Oh yeah. Oh, that feels good. Yeah. Oh yeah, here we made it, man. Welcome. And that. We got a big military vice president. Oh yeah, I'm gonna hydrate again, man.
Hallo.
Non, on peut faire les 3,50.
That for a second. Hold on. Let's go! Let's go, let's go, let's go! Alright, so we're gonna switch it to that French now. Because we in La Belle Province just wanted to pass a little bit there, didn't want to stay much. Side of the city, we're gonna go to shit on another side, and we're gonna switch to that French, you know. Because we're here in La Belle Province, and that's what we got, and that's what we're gonna get on that rock and roll. So we gotta get on the drill, you know. Ja, wat. Ja, wat. Darkness. Sit philosophy. There we are. It feels so good here. I just feel so good when I come here. Just incredible sense. My doctor and the mistress. That's what it is, and that's what it is now, man. I'm gonna get it on the go. See, that is my favorite skyscraper right there. The pyramid. Farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, firefighters, truckers, electricians, plumbers, truckers on the road, 50 states, 10 territories, 3 provinces, crossing with all the goods, LOVE, firefighters, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, security forces, plumbers, electricians, bakers, nurses, doctors, those across the 50 states, 10 provinces, 3 territories, for the Dragon Army, pledge your allegiance, legions, postal workers, office workers, dock workers, nurses, daycare workers, changing some of those diapers. Gotta sing for the daycare workers changing diapers, and gotta get it on the go. And that's the rock and roll song. We're gonna switch it to that French because we're in La Belle Province, and so we're gonna get doing on that, man. Wow. So we're gonna get drilling, you know. And here we're gonna go on the side up. I'm gonna switch to that French. So you have several ways to see the city on the go, and that's how we're gonna go there, and we're gonna get doing on that, and we're gonna get doing on the love, you know. So something which we have to be, you know, doing now. Yeah. Et voilà. On y va. Pour le français. On est déjà à la montagne. Je dois te dire, commencer avec la gratitude, un peu de rock'n'roll. La canicule vient de passer, aujourd'hui, on est le 26. Jeudi, la plantation, ça fait attention, les arbres. Les arbres! D'en haut, ça tombe les branches, qui grosses, ça bouge dans les fesses jusqu'à temps, la tente. Sinon, les pions, ça descend, ça regarde, que ce soit dans une, l'aine de la droite, la gauche, par en avance, avance dans la danse, le sport que je préfère. Et je dois dire des fois, faut que vous me compreniez, je m'excuse, mais je suis autiste dans les sauges sociales. J'ai un peu de la misère, j'ai l'Asperger, ça c'est vrai, tu sais, je suis Asperger, j'ai l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, fait que c'est quelque chose, bien sûr, que moi-même, je dois y avoir dans un sens de le faire dans l'environnement où on est rendu aujourd'hui, que je suis différent, mais cette différence, ça fait que, à cause de cette neurodivergence, j'ai de la misère à me garder des amis, j'ai fait bien des amis, mais maintenant, je vous dis, je mets une barrière comme un, pas une barrière, mais un principe, là, juste des amis avec bénéfice, juste des amis avec bénéfice. Juste des amis avec bénéfice, tu sais. Puis prêter allégeance, légion, c'est la chanson, soutenir le rêve. Le rêve du royaume, du dragon, bien sûr, que on est rendu à avoir des petites belles fleurs, comme des jaunes, ici sur la montagne, mais le Mont-Royal, tu sais. Que ce soit dans un plat, dans un autre, de la gauche, de la droite. Salutations aux pompiers, boulangers, les travailleurs qui ont changé les couches dans les garderies. Je dois savoir, je dois vous envoyer de l'amour aussi. Malheureusement, chez nous, chez ma communauté, une petite communauté, il n'y a pas bien des Asperger, des autistes hautement fonctionnels. Il n'y en a que 0,44%, moins de la moitié d'un pourcentage, moins d'1%. Fait que moins d'1%, c'est pas beaucoup, là. Des Aspergers, là, il n'y en a pas bien des Aspergers comme moi, il n'y en a pas bien. Aussi connu comme autiste hautement fonctionnel, mais moi, j'utilise le mot encore pour désigner condition de neurodivergence qui n'est pas une maladie mentale. Encore une fois, s'il vous plaît, SVP, c'est pas une maladie mentale. L'Asperger's, s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît. Ne dites plus que c'est une maladie, c'est une condition de neurodivergence. Ça fait que nous, on a notre cerveau, il y a des mutations dans le cerveau. Fait que nous, on a de la misère dans la compréhension des choses de la société. Bien sûr qu'on est dans une situation où que certaines choses, on a mal à comprendre. Tu sais, à cause de ces mutations au niveau microscopique, là, c'est sûr que ça ne sort pas du cerveau comme un... Tu sais, comme une deuxième, cette tête, là, cette tête, comme une bête, ça dit pas c'est la mutation de même, mais c'est au niveau microscopique. Fait qu'au niveau microscopique, ces mutations font que nous, les Asperger's, on a de la misère dans certaines choses de la société, la compréhension sociale, l'étiquette sociale, les normes non écrites, les normes comme, tu sais, quand savoir quand parler, quand ne pas parler, bien sûr, quand se faire pas parler, puis quand dire, ou des fois on répète 2-3 fois la même chose, fait que c'est des caractéristiques un peu bizarres, étranges pour la majorité de grosse population, la grosse majorité de la population, bien sûr que ça fait bien sûr que ça désigne dans un mot et dans un autre, pour la désignation, bien sûr, et l'appel qu'on fait dans ce point de convergence, ou que, bien sûr, je fais partie de cette minorité, petite minorité de neurodivergents de 0,44% vis-à-vis vous, la majorité de 99,56%. Puis je recommande des livres, faites un peu de recherche sur Internet, Asperger c'est quoi, puis justement hier je parlais avec un citoyen, mais il savait pas c'était quoi. Il a jamais entendu même parler de l'Asperger, hein. Fait que je lui ai expliqué un peu, fait comme je vous l'explique un peu en introduction, là, c'est pas une maladie mentale, premièrement, avant tout, c'est pas une maladie mentale, c'est une condition de neurodivergence. Nous, les Asperger, on a des mutations dans le cerveau, au niveau microscopique, comme des micropuces, là, mais un peu, au niveau petit, là, microscopique, là, tu sais. Fait que ces mutations-là font qu'on voit le monde différemment, puis on a de la misère dans certaines choses, mais on a également des forces qui peuvent être supérieures un peu de haut niveau, surtout dans nos intérêts spéciaux, aussi connus comme obsessifs. Moi, je n'utilise pas personnellement le mot obsessif parce que obsessif, c'est du point de vue d'un neurotypique. Fait qu'un neurotypique, quand vous voyez que moi-même, je fais des heures par jour, s'il vous plaît, polluez pas, s'il vous plaît. Mettez ça dans le recyclage. Je vous donne le bénéfice de doute, là, que c'est sorti des poches aussi, là, c'est tombé, mais bon. Fait que moi, mon intérêt spécial, ma trinité d'intérêts spéciaux, aussi connu comme obsessif, c'est la géopolitique. Je suis moi-même un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, puis chaque jour, je passe des heures à faire des analyses, théories et stratégies, bien sûr, parce que je suis quand même un stratégiste. Je propose mes initiatives, c'est des propos stratégiques. Pour la stratégie, pour qu'est-ce que j'appelle le collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord en tant que philosophe, artiste. Bien sûr, je dis toujours que c'est le grand compromis du français qu'on a fait pour avoir la continuité de l'équité, la continuité de l'harmonie puis la paix dans le collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. Dans le collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord, c'est le grand compromis qu'on a fait. Mais moi, si je le fais pas moi-même, si j'encourage pas les gens à le faire, d'abord, ben ça veut dire que je le fais pas moi-même. Ça fait que si moi je le fais pas, puis j'encourage pas les autres quand ils font un effort, parce que des fois ça peut être difficile pour certains de l'apprentissage du français, c'est pas exactement comme il y a certains gens qui veulent rien savoir, qui savent rien de la géopolitique. Moi, à cause de l'Asperger's, la plupart de mon temps se passe avec intensité, super concentration, puis on peut dire je suis super dedans, quand je fais des analyses en géopolitique. Et ces analyses-là, bien sûr, se passent complètement, même des fois, je suis sur la route, puis je vois des camions, puis je mets ça dans le contexte de la géopolitique, ou bien sûr nos forces de sécurité, nos frères et sœurs qui portent un uniforme, c'est dans la police, ou dans l'armée, ou bien sûr les pompiers aussi, ou les camionneurs, par exemple. C'est un niveau de géostratégie, là, parce que ça inclut le transport public, ça fait partie de la géopolitique, veut pas, surtout de nos jours, où on est ouvert à un sabotage potentiel à cause des alliances solides qui se sont solidifiées à travers le monde, à l'extérieur de l'OTAN. Puis bien sûr, l'alliance de l'OTAN vient de finir un rendez-vous, un gros rendez-vous, bien sûr, qui se sont rencontrés en Europe. Puis c'est que je fasse un résumé, là, c'est le plus important de cette rencontre qu'ils ont faite, c'est bien sûr d'augmenter de 5% d'augmentation pour la défense des pays, parce qu'on fait partie de cette alliance militaire. Bien sûr, mais l'Ukraine ne fait pas partie, mais on a décidé, quand même, c'est pas nous, c'est pas moi, j'ai décidé de s'impliquer. Moi-même, je peux analyser, je connais l'idéologie, bien sûr, puis je dois dire que, bien sûr, en tant qu'Asperger, j'ai de la misère dans certaines choses. Dans certaines choses, il faut me le dire directement, tu sais, on a certaines caractéristiques, des fois on s'approche trop proche des gens, on a tendance à briser l'espace personnel, on a tendance de briser l'espace personnel, de s'approcher trop proche des gens, bien sûr, puis, bien sûr, certaines caractéristiques qui peuvent sembler étranges du point de vue de où qu'on se positionne en tant que neurodivergent, tu sais, la manière qu'on parle, qu'on s'exprime des fois, comment qu'on bouge, ça peut inquiéter certains gens. Moi, j'aime pas la violence, j'aime pas la violence. Je suis intense, je suis concentré, je suis énergétique, surtout quand je parle de la géopolitique, parce que c'est ça que je fais, mon cerveau, je dédie la plupart du temps à l'entraînement physique, qui est mon autre intérêt spéciaux, l'entraînement physique, la géopolitique, les conséquences. Le troisième, c'est le rock and roll. Des fois, tu sais, je pars dans des trances de rock and roll. Je suis bon à ça. Je suis bon à ça. Je suis bon au rock and roll. Je suis bon à ça. Je suis bon à ça, mais je suis quelqu'un qui est hyper vigilant, mais j'aime pas la violence. J'aime pas la violence, je me suis fait attaquer moi-même par surprise. Dans le métro de Montréal, j'étais tout ensanglé, j'étais tout ensanglé. J'étais allé à l'hôpital juif, là, ça fait longtemps, ça fait peut-être 11 ans, puis ma mémoire est... J'ai de la misère à me souvenir de ma mémoire avant. Ma vie où j'habitais avant, c'était dans une petite place. Il y avait beaucoup de moisissures. Une petite place comme une petite prison. Je dis, ben, j'ai peut-être servi mon temps, puis peut-être le trompe, les cicatrices, puis je sais pas si je faisais de la drogue avant, 2015-2014, ou je faisais beaucoup de consommation d'alcool, parce que c'est possible que la perte de mémoire est causée par l'alcoolisme aussi. Fait que j'ai de la misère, ma vie personnelle, je parle, mes mémoires personnellement, mais l'autre mémoire, la mémoire d'intellectuel du niveau de la langue, la compréhension, puis le niveau de la compréhension, puis bien sûr, le niveau qu'on s'exprime dans une langue quoi, bilingue ou français, bien sûr, que ça soit dans une langue bilingue, que ça soit dans une proposition de faire, bien sûr, pour aller voir dans ce compromis et concordia, bien sûr, puis ça a fait, bien sûr, dans la concordance, c'est-à-dire que la situation linguistique, c'est une affaire qu'il faut que je le vois moi-même, tu sais, c'est... Mais c'est des choses, bien sûr, que moi-même, je dois le faire dans ce compromis d'avoir faire où on est rendu aujourd'hui. Fait que c'est toujours et constamment, c'est une routine rituelle avec nous, moi-même. C'est une routine rituelle avec moi-même. C'est une routine rituelle qui se passe, qui se produit, c'est toujours l'analyse de la théorie en géopolitique. Même aujourd'hui, je pensais j'allais partir de chez nous faire de la montagne, ma deuxième maison ici, ma maîtresse, la forêt, mon docteur, la montagne avec les roches. Puis finalement, mais je suis parti à 4h30 en place de partir à 2h. Fait que c'est pas à cause de la géopolitique. Je faisais des analyses, des révisions, puis là, qu'est-ce qui se passe avec l'économie, les finances, puis j'ai pas toutes les solutions, mais j'ai quand même une trinité de théories, puis mon rêve qui se manifeste comme le royaume de la déesse et du dragon qui danse est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat public-privé. Bien sûr, puis en tant qu'individu différent, parce que, veux pas, je fais partie d'une petite minorité vis-à-vis que je suis aussi ouvert, ben, je suis androgène, monsieur, madame, puis je crois à la réincarnation. Des fois, j'étais né ici, en 1700, je vivais comme femme ici, à Montréal, sur l'île de Montréal, puis mon nom était Marie-France quelque chose, puis ben, j'étais québécoise dans le temps, c'était pas une québécoise d'aujourd'hui, là, du 21e siècle, là. C'était la Nouvelle-France, là, c'était le début, là, c'était, tu sais, j'étais encore française de la France, disons, j'étais pas, n'avais pas un sens de comment qu'on l'a aujourd'hui en tant que Québécois nord-américain, Québécois canadien nord-américain d'aujourd'hui, tu sais. Parce que c'est chez nous, tu sais, c'est chez nous ici, le Montréal, l'île de Montréal, puis c'est chez nous, puis c'est ici que je suis mort de la COVID, puis c'est ici que j'ai accepté mon Asperger, que je suis différent, c'est ici que je suis devenu dragon, blablabla, puis je veux juste des amis avec bénéfice, hein. Puis amis avec bénéfice, rien d'autre savoir, je veux rien savoir. Si vous voulez du rock and roll, de la danse, la géopolitique, la théorie en géopolitique, puis le principe, c'est ça mon royaume. J'ai l'Asperger, puis c'est ça mon intérêt spécial, puis fondamentalement, je dois dire, puis répéter, j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant en 2019. Fait qu'en 2019, j'avais prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant. En 2019. En 2019, j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant. En 2019. En octobre, en novembre. Octobre, novembre, j'ai prévu la situation actuelle qui se déroule en ce moment. En octobre, en novembre, j'ai prévu la situation qui se déroule en ce moment. Je l'ai prévu la situation en ce moment. Je l'ai prévu d'une manière, généralement parlant, j'ai prévu la situation, bien sûr, qui se passe maintenant. Ben, c'est sûr que pas chaque détail, mais de conséquence, généralement, j'ai prévu la situation d'aujourd'hui. J'ai la preuve, j'ai la vidéo en ligne, puis oui, ben, j'ai la vidéo aussi, mais je fais partie de la communauté LGBTQ, tout ça, mais c'est préférence, bien sûr, l'Asperger, qu'est-ce que c'est pas, pour faire une distinction, bien sûr, vis-à-vis qu'est-ce que c'est et qu'est-ce que c'est pas l'Asperger. Ici, si vous venez sur la montagne, il y a vous voyez, il y a de la poésie ici, vous voyez ça? Nous portons la pulsation des roches et des branches, fait que tout autour... Ah ouais. On a le coucher du soleil, puis là c'est le nord. Là c'est le nord-est. Puis ici vous voyez, il y a des...
What's in English?
This is a poem in French.
Poem in French.
Poetry. You want the translation?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is... But it starts over there, eh? So it says, this is... Yeah, it starts over... It starts over there. Et nous portons la pulsation des roches et des branches. Nous portons la pulsation means we are carrying. So me, you, us. Like nous is like us.
Okay.
Us carry. Portons, we carry. The pulse, the feeling pulse. You know pulse.
Okay.
The rush is rocks.
Oh, rocks.
Rocks like that. Rocks, like the mountain rocks.
Yeah.
And the branch is the branches of the trees. So that's what that says there in French. Right? And it goes from here, crève le vent. So that's a French expression. It means, you know, the wind. When it goes high, the wind. When it's powerful wind, that's crève le vent. So powerful wind, and then it goes over here, and then it comes all the way here. Surplomber les saillies nouer. So to overcome, kind of like the surplomber is like to overcome the certain difficulties that we have in life. So it's like a poem, you know?
Yeah. Okay. High imagination.
It's cultural, you know, also.
Yeah.
You have to know a little bit of Quebec culture.
Okay.
It's a bit funny too, you know? A bit funny how it's, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see you have everywhere.
Everywhere.
So if you go over there, you also see that one. And this is a secret of the mountain.
Okay.
So sometimes you have places when you go in the forest, and but you have to know, because it's kind of a mountain secret, you know?
Yeah.
And then you have circles, and it's like the poems like this.
Okay.
Where are you guys from?
Vancouver.
Vancouver, nice. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Welcome to Quebec, and have fun, have a nice day, and
Okay.
please learn some French.
Okay.
Bien, ça fait plaisir. Bonne journée à vous, madame. Ciao, ciao. Bye, bye. So, c'est ça, mais il faut que je fasse un effort. Ils ont fait un effort. Ben, ils voulaient savoir c'était quoi ça disait en anglais. Fait que le poème, je l'ai dit, qui venait du Vancouver. Fait que c'est ça, mais c'est des choses qui sont des touristes. Fait que je les accueille le plus possible. J'ai oublié de leur dire de consommer des produits du Québec, là. Des produits du Québec. Mais c'est bien sûr ces choses que moi-même j'ai faites dans cette convergence que ils viennent de Vancouver. Mais ces choses, bien sûr, qu'ils sont dit dans le monde avoir une compréhension de... Il y a eu la volonté, le citoyen mais qui vient de Vancouver, le tourisme intra-canadien, qu'il faut soutenir aussi, intra-provincial et intra-nord-américain aussi, pour les 50 États. Moi, c'est comme ça que je vois le monde, plus en tant que nord-américain. Parce que je suis pour le fusionnement du Québec et du Canada, vous le savez, hein? Je suis pour fusionner, mais d'une manière de partenariat public-privé, par contre, en gardant le français, puis en faisant un grand compromis nord-américain pour la sécurité, service et défense, puis le bien-être, la solidarité du citoyen avec le collectif. Puis je suis content, mais parce qu'il a demandé c'était quoi qui est écrit en anglais. Alors, je veux dire, ce qui est écrit en français, puis je l'ai montré, puis j'ai expliqué le plus que je peu, là, parce que quand même, tu sais, faire des traductions un peu, c'est pas vraiment mot à mot pareil, c'est quand même une compréhension de niveau aussi. De la poésie, c'est quelque chose que moi j'en fais du rock'n'roll poétique, là, mais j'ai quand même expliqué un peu, puis il a appris un peu de français, fait j'ai fait de ma part. Bon, j'ai fait de ma part avec le français. il faut qu'on le fasse, hein. Si moi je le fais pas, toi tu le fais pas. Ça prend l'action individuelle, en d'autres mots. Parce que moi, je le fais pas. Puis la madame, après, m'a dit merci. Bonne journée, bonne soirée, bonne journée. Bien. Parce que il faut le faire aussi en tant qu'individu, comme qu'il faut le faire pour le recyclage aussi. C'est l'individu et le collectif. Moi, je suis centriste. Mon centrisme est pro-révolutionnaire universel, puis pro-travail, mais malheureusement, chez ma communauté d'Aspergers, c'est inacceptable que 80% des Aspergers comme moi n'ont pas de travail, non, sont sans emploi. J'ai eu bien de l'emploi, j'ai aimé. Ben de l'emploi, j'ai aimé, mais... Ben de l'emploi, j'ai aimé moi-même. C'est garder l'emploi. 80%, puis nous, on est une petite minorité, 80%, c'est 11 fois plus que les autres citoyens, là. Que la majorité des citoyens ont 11 fois plus, là, des Aspergers. C'est inacceptable, ça. Non, c'est vraiment inacceptable. Sérieusement, c'est inacceptable, les Aspergers, comme moi-même, qu'on se retrouve dans une situation qu'on a 80%, là, des Aspergers n'ont pas d'emploi. C'est pas une maladie malade ou une maladie mentale, on a certaines difficultés. Bon, moi, j'ai pas besoin de beaucoup de soutien, mais parce que je dois dire qu'à cause de mes intérêts spéciaux puis mes routines rituelles, je néglige certaines choses, tu sais. Je néglige certaines choses. Je néglige certaines choses. OK? Fait que je néglige certaines choses, oui. Mais quand même, je m'efforce. Puis, une autre chose que moi-même j'ai vécu, j'étais en dépression, j'étais suicidaire. C'est 9 fois plus le taux de suicide puis le taux de dépression. Avant 2017, j'étais en dépression, mais comme je vous dis, je ne sais pas si la perte de mémoire, l'amnésie rétrograde, c'est parce que je consommais de la drogue ou de l'alcool avant 2017, ou quand j'étais ensanglé, j'étais attaqué par surprise. Peut-être c'était en 2014, je dois retrouver de l'hôpital général juif, là. Mais je sais pas exactement c'était quelle date, peut-être c'était cette date-là. Mais bon, je vais aller voir les archives. Peut-être je vais aller lundi, demander dans les archives lundi, faire une requête des archives à l'hôpital général juif. À l'hôpital général juif, parce que c'est là que j'étais allé, puis les docteurs m'ont recraqué l'épaule droit disloqué, le bras droit disloqué, j'étais tout ensanglé, puis j'étais mis sur des médicaments, puis j'étais comme dans un coma pendant un couple de jours. Comme dans un coma pendant un couple de jours, puis j'ai pris ces médicaments-là, puis j'ai la misère à me souvenir de ma vie avant ça. J'ai comme des flashs, c'est comme... C'est comme ces choses-là qui sont difficiles quand même, pour moi. Bon, en tout cas, c'est pas important vraiment. Qu'est-ce qui est important, c'est mon travail depuis 2017. Quand j'ai sorti de ma dépression, puis j'étais suicidaire puis en dépression, puis en 2017, ça a fait 8 ans, en août puis en septembre, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte. Et cet événement-là, mais ça a fait un réveil, j'ai eu comme un réveil. Je dis, wow, tellement de choses à faire, à voir au Canada que je suis sorti de ma dépression, puis j'ai établi un esprit de corps solide avec le Québec. Avec le Québec, j'ai établi un esprit de corps avec le Québec solide. J'ai établi un esprit de corps solide avec le Québec. Puis bien sûr, je continue bien sûr à continuer ma famille de l'Amérique du Nord dans les 50 provinces, 50 États, 10 provinces, 3 territoires qu'on va fusionner pour les 63 dans l'Empire, le Royaume de la République démocratique. On va faire une nouvelle entente ici sur le sommet de la montagne, un nouveau compromis collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. Dans ce collectif, il faut bien sûr qu'on se met ensemble puis qu'on s'établit ce nouveau compromis et pacte et alliance. Puis bien sûr par la terre des théories de la réfusion de la dette, comme je vais discuter maintenant. Fait que là, il faut dire que moi, qu'est-ce qui m'a fait sortir de ma dépression, c'est de traverser le Canada. J'ai eu comme un réveil, je m'en souviens quand j'étais allé à Banff, là. À Banff, quand j'étais allé à Banff. Quand j'étais allé à Banff. Quand j'étais allé à Banff, mais... J'étais allé à Banff, tu sais. J'étais allé à Banff. Ben, j'ai traversé le Canada de Montréal à Vancouver. Puis après ça, en septembre 2017, j'étais allé de Montréal, là, bien sûr, en Nouvelle-Écosse, Halifax. Halifax, en Nouvelle-Écosse. Halifax. Fait que cet événement-là, ça m'a fait sortir de ma dépression. J'étais en dépression puis suicidaire, j'étais en dépression puis suicidaire avant ça. Fait que ça m'a fait sortir de cette dépression-là, cet événement-là. Puis c'est là que j'ai établi un esprit de corps solide avec le Québec, les Québécois et Québécoises. Ben, je vous considère comme ma famille, tu sais. Fait que tous les Canadiens, puis tous ceux qui viennent nous rejoindre dans ce que j'appelle le collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. Fait que là, il faut que je retarde de plus. Je vais juste parler de la TRD, ça sort dans la malédiction de l'Asperger, mais il y a une bénédiction dans cette petite malédiction-là. C'est pour nous, pour moi, pour vous, pour nous tous. C'est la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, que je vais maintenant discuter avec vous. Qu'est-ce que c'est la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette? C'est la solution, ou quelque chose qui ressemble à ma TRD, c'est la solution vis-à-vis le problème financier qu'on se retrouve, le Québec, le Canada, puis les États-Unis. Puis avant que je procède, en tant qu'analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, c'est ça mon royaume. En tant qu'Asperger, je savais que j'ai laissé d'intérêts spéciaux. C'est la géopolitique. Puis encore, je répète, j'ai prévu la situation actuelle. En 2019, encore, je fais un résumé. Qu'est-ce que j'avais conclu? En grosse partie, c'est qu'à cause que bien des régions, bien des États, bien des civilisations, surtout durant la guerre froide, n'ont pas été capables de résoudre leurs conflits du 20e siècle. Ces conflits-là vont reprendre. Fait que c'est ça qui arrive, bien sûr, en grosse partie aujourd'hui dans le monde, ces conflits-là qui n'ont pas été capables d'avoir des résolutions. Exactement. Fait qu'ils n'ont pas eu de résolution finale, ces conflits-là, bien sûr. Fait qu'en grosse partie, c'était ça ma théorie. Mais c'était comme une analyse des analyses théoriques. C'est un peu académique, c'est un peu intellectuel, mais c'est plus il y a bien des détails là-dessus, mais pour vous dire, bien sûr, que c'était ça, bien sûr, qui est arrivé. Bon. Fait que bien sûr, pour le faire, bien sûr, juste comme ça, pour le faire dans ce conséquence de la compromis, bien sûr, d'avoir aujourd'hui mes concitoyens ici, puis citoyennes, que je fais ce YouTuber en tant que YouTuber, puis en tant que philosophe, artiste et analyste théoricien en géopolitique. Bon, pour dire, bien sûr, dans cette entente, bien sûr, pour le faire ici, pour le dire que, bien sûr, c'est les analyses et théories en géopolitique pour s'asseoir dans un esprit de corps, pour dire, bien sûr, qu'il faut dire, bien sûr, dans cette analyse, qu'à cause de ces conflits qui n'ont pas été résolus durant la guerre froide, ces conflits-là vont reprendre. C'est ça, comme faire un résumé de ma conclusion de 2019, octobre-novembre, en géopolitique. Qu'est-ce qui suivra dans les 7 prochaines années? En 2019, j'avais déclaré que on va avoir une guerre mondiale, dans d'autres mots. Une guerre mondiale. C'est ça, une guerre. Qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant dans le monde? C'est ça. Une guerre internationale, une géopolitique, crise de géopolitique, puis des conflits qui se sont recommencés. Puis la guerre froide a duré comme plus que 44 ans, quasiment 45, entre 1947, mars, et 1991. Décembre 1991. Fait que tous ces conflits-là, entre 1947 et 1991, c'est entre mars 1947 et décembre 1991, c'est des conflits qui ont duré quasiment 45 ans, plus que 44 ans. Fait qu'il faut se dire de cette manière aussi qu'il faut qu'on se juge que c'est ça, des conflits non résolus du 20e siècle. Même aussi, le Taïwan puis la Chine, c'est possible que ça je recommence. C'est un conflit qui n'ont pas résolu du 20e siècle. Ici, dans l'Amérique du Nord, on a fait ce que j'appelle le grand compromis pour le français linguistique, pour avoir la continuité du français, puis bien sûr la continuité du français, bien sûr pour l'avoir dans ce domaine d'où on est rendu aujourd'hui, pour avoir une histoire de interdépendance. Puis c'est pour ça qu'il faut qu'on se fusionne par la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, que je vous l'explique maintenant. C'est important que je l'explique. Je vais juste me concentrer là-dessus. TRD, c'est quoi? C'est la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Pourquoi que je dis qu'il faut faire l'implémentation? Car on est rendu, Canada et États-Unis ensemble, à avoir une crise économique sur l'horizon public ainsi que privé. Parce que le citoyen, l'individu, a trop d'endettement. Les cartes de crédit, là, il y a tellement un surendettement sur les cartes de crédit, puis parallèlement, le surendettement, puis le record de cartes de crédit, il y a aussi un autre problème que vous voyez dans l'histoire, que ça se passe, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Bien, fondamentalement, en principe, ou à la crise de surendettement avec les cartes de crédit, c'est le coût de la vie qui augmente. Le prix, bien sûr, que vous avez, je vous montre, que je vous dis encore du café, du thé, des saucisses, du pain, c'est aussi, là, pas juste ça, mais le prix, là, comme je vous dis, les gaufres que moi j'ai achetées, il y a 3 ans et demi à $1, sont 175 grammes, mais c'était quoi le prix avant? c'était 1$, puis là, c'est rendu 1,39. Au début, ça augmentait à 1,25. Là, c'est rendu 1,39. C'est 39%, là. C'est quand même gros en pourcentage. Combien de salaires que vous connaissez qui ont augmenté de 39%? En pourcentage de 25%. Pas bien des salaires, hein, il n'y en a pas bien. Il y a un couple, là. 5%, 4%. C'est ça le problème fondamentalement. C'est ça que vous devrez comprendre. C'est ça que vous devrez comprendre. C'est ça que vous devrez comprendre. C'est bien sûr une compréhension qu'il faut savoir, bien sûr, dans ce point de concordance. Dans ce point de concordance. Dans ce point de concordance, tu sais. Dans ce point de concordance. Tu sais. Dans ce point de concordance, bien sûr, pour le faire dans ce point de concordance. Fait que dans ce point de concordance, il faut faire la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, il faut faire l'implémentation. Parce que la TRD, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire. La théorie d'intégration monétaire, c'est la théorie que les Européens ont fait l'implémentation dans les années 80. Fait que dans ma TRD, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire. Pourquoi je dis qu'il faut faire cette implémentation de la TRD? Car, encore une fois, on a un record de dette. On a un surendettement. Fait qu'à cause de ce surendettement, le Canada, États-Unis, puis la dette publique, l'intérêt payé sur la dette publique à cause de la coronavirus, la COVID, là, ça a mis qu'on a dû mettre en place des programmes, des protocoles pour les citoyens qui ne perdent pas leur appartement, qui peuvent se nourrir, qui peuvent se loger, qui peuvent... Tu sais, il y a eu cette crise-là, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Là? Puis moi-même, je vous fais appel à tous les concitoyens de garder les protocoles d'hygiène. Gardez les protocoles d'hygiène. Gardez les protocoles d'hygiène. Gardez les protocoles d'hygiène. De garder les protocoles d'hygiène. C'est super important de garder les protocoles d'hygiène. Hygiénique. Laver les mains, il y a des bactéries, des microbes, des germes, des bactéries, des microbes et des germes. Fait qu'à cause de ces microbes, de ces bactéries puis des germes, puis un potentiel sabotage biologique aussi pour l'Amérique du Nord. Il faut se garder quand même en alerte, là. Moi, j'aime pas la violence, mais je suis pour la défense. Je suis pour la défense, pour le collectif de l'Amérique du Nord, mais je suis pour la défense, mais je suis quand même pour faire une bonne affaire de la défense intégrale ici pour pas qu'il y ait de violence, puis pour l'agressivité puis la violence, pour faire la maîtrise puis financer l'entraînement physique. Faire l'entraînement physique. Faire l'entraînement physique. Faire l'entraînement physique. Faire l'entraînement physique. Super important. Moi, j'aime pas la violence, mais je suis hyper vigilant, mais j'ai vécu mon traume, j'ai mes cicatrices, puis je vis avec ça, la perte de mémoire, etc., mais la violence, j'aime pas ça. Bon, en tout cas. Fait que la TRD, il faut qu'on fasse l'implémentation. On est rendu à un point, là, on est à veille d'avoir un effondrement, tu sais. Un effondrement des finances. Public, privé aussi, parce que dans le privé aussi, le citoyen avec le surendettement aussi, tu sais, à cause du surendettement, là, c'est sûrement ce surendettement, bien sûr, qu'on est rendu ici, dans ce surendettement pour faire des cartes de crédit, puis pour avoir le coût de la vie qui augmente. Fait que c'est deux problèmes conjointement, l'économie et les finances du point de vue commercial. C'est ça le problème, fondamentalement. C'est deux problèmes qui se joignent l'un à l'autre. Le coût de la vie qui augmente, puis qui n'arrête pas d'augmenter, parallèlement aussi au coût de la vie qui augmente. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Ben exactement, c'est le surendettement, les cartes de crédit qui n'arrêtent pas de se remplir. Fait que, sauf les salaires n'augmentent pas tellement. Fait que c'est ça le problème, finalement. Fait que la TRD, c'est la solution. Donc, TRD, ça inclut la théorie d'intégration monétaire. On va prendre, je vous l'explique maintenant, on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, incluant mon 10 000, à la Banque Royale. J'ai un 10 000 de dette. J'ai pas de carte de crédit moi-même. Je vis une crise financière, mais j'ai des sandwichs dans le sac à dos, puis j'ai du jus chez nous. Il me reste un peu de café pour demain, puis pour la fin de semaine, puis lundi prochain, peut-être je vais être correct avec ça. Bon. Puis j'ai un couple de thé qui me reste, là, du thé un peu. Là, fait que, bon, blablabla. On va prendre toute la dette publique-privée. mon 10 000, ton 10 000, mon 10 000, ton 10 000. On va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, ton 10 000, mon 10 000. Toute cette dette-là, on va faire une refusion ensemble. Fait qu'on va faire l'addition de toute la dette publique-privée canadienne. Ensemble, on va faire la conversion dans la devise des États-Unis, car est dû au fait que la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, il faut qu'on fasse l'implémentation il faut qu'on fasse l'implémentation à travers le collectif de l'Amérique du Nord, le Canada, les États-Unis ensemble. Le Canada et les États-Unis ensemble. Donc, toute cette dette-là, public-privé, on va la prendre ensemble. Toute cette dette-là, public-privé, on va faire l'addition ensemble. Cette dette publique-privée, ensemble, ça va être la dette publique-privée. Ensemble, on va faire la conversion de la devise des États-Unis. On va faire l'addition avec la dette des États-Unis public-privé. Cet argent-là, on va le mettre ensemble pour la création d'une nouvelle banque. C'est pour ça que je vous ai dit dans la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire, qui est la théorie que les Européens ont fait l'implémentation dans les années 80. Ils n'ont plus de banque centrale nationale. Ils n'ont plus de banque nationale, les centrales nationales. En Allemagne, en Italie, en France, bien d'autres pays, ils ont une banque multinationale, la banque européenne, qui a mis en circulation dans les années 90, ça fait longtemps, l'euro. Fait qu'ils n'ont plus de banque nationale centrale comme la Banque du Canada, Banque Federal Reserve aux États-Unis. La Réserve fédérale, c'est comme une banque centrale, ça sert un peu, c'est le même principe, là. Mais ils n'ont plus de ça, ils ont fini avec ça fait longtemps, ça fait depuis les années 90, ça a même commencé avant un peu. Fait qu'on va faire la création d'une nouvelle monnaie basée sur la valeur du dollar des États-Unis. Et l'argent en circulation, ça va être toute la dette publique. Louis, on va faire la création de l'unité d'échange universelle. U.unité, E.échange ou point universel. U.unité, E.échange ou point universel. U.unité, E.échange universel. U.unité, E.échange point universel. Oui. L'unité d'échange universel. L'unité d'échange universel. Oui. On ne s'ostinera pas, en anglais c'est pareil. L'unité d'échange universel aura la valeur du dollar des États-Unis. On va mettre un taux d'intérêt de 10% maximum. Avec cet argent-là, on va rebâtir l'infrastructure du Canada, du Québec, des États-Unis, du collectif de l'Amérique du Nord. On va financer les gens à l'entraînement physique. On va construire plus de centrales d'Hydro-Québec. On va financer les gens à l'entraînement physique, on va financer les gens au tourisme, on va financer les gens, bien sûr, à bâtir les 44 tunnels, les 44 tunnels pour, et dans le cas d'une guerre nucléaire, on va avoir, pour la continuité de la civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord, pour sauver des millions de concitoyens commencer à bâtir par un partenariat public-privé, ces tunnels, dans le cas d'une guerre nucléaire, puis il y a un réarmement nucléaire. Même la Chine, ils ont augmenté par plus que 44% leur arsenal. Pourquoi ils ont augmenté en 5 ans? Qu'est-ce qu'ils n'ont jamais augmenté en 45 ans depuis 1978? 78, fait qu'on se demande, tu sais, ce réarmement de l'Allemagne, c'est un paradoxe, le Japon dans l'Est, puis dans l'Ouest, fait qu'il faut qu'on fasse l'implémentation de ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, pour la création de ces nouvelles institutions, de partenariat public-privé aussi, l'armée de la déesse qui danse, avec l'armée du dragon, pour, de côte à côte, pour la sécurité, service et défense basée sur mes nouveaux protocoles de 9.1 du Dragon de l'Amérique du Nord pour la sécurité totale, service aussi, total, défense, la SSD, puis on va faire l'implémentation de l'opération Scorpion du Nord pour bâtir ces 44 tunnels. On va bâtir d'autres centrales d'Hydro-Québec, financer les gens à l'entraînement physique, financer les gens au tourisme, parce que ça fait du bien, tu sais, le tourisme. Moi aussi, ça fait du bien quand j'ai tracé Canada, puis établir un esprit de corps. On va finir avec la frontière. On va faire un passeport commun. On va finir avec la frontière. Ça ne nous sert plus à rien, la frontière, vraiment. On va faire un passeport commun. On va faire la création d'un passeport commun, une monnaie centrale commune avec ces belles fleurs sur la montagne ici. On va bâtir les 4. Le temple de la déesse oubliée que je veux bâtir, le palais du peuple impérial de l'Amérique du Nord. Et on dirait qu'il y a des nouvelles roches qui se sont rajoutées ici. On dirait des roches de construction. Ça veut dire qu'on remet... Et c'est nouveau, ça, je pense. Et je pense que c'est nouveau. On va pouvoir s'entraîner. On va venir s'entraîner avec des roches ici. Ça va être un gymnase. Et bien sur la montagne. Fait que c'est des choses, bien sûr, qu'on va falloir qu'on fasse ici. Fait que... Et oui, une roche... abusé comme l'autre jour, on s'est entraîné, mais ces roches-là sont pour un bon entraînement. Fait on va bâtir le Colisée du peuple impérial. Je vais la prendre, mais le Colisée du peuple impérial. Ah oui, ça entraîne un peu. Le Colisée du peuple impérial. Je vais changer la main. Le Colisée du peuple impérial, dans le cas, bien sûr, sur la frontière Canada-États-Unienne, pour avoir du sport à perpétuité. Du sport à perpétuité. Quelqu'un a rajouté ça, fait que peut-être on va commencer à bâtir La pyramide, 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 la maison du dragon, écarlate, rouge, rouge, écarlate. Rouge écarlate, bien sûr. Rouge écarlate. Écarlate, c'est rouge, bien sûr. La pyramide ici du dragon, le temple de la déesse oubliée, le palais du peuple arc-en-ciel pour les neurodivergents, puis bien sûr pour ceux qui font partie de la communauté LGBTQ aussi. Et bien sûr, pour ceux, bien sûr, qui font aussi l'entraînement physique, on va bâtir la frontière du Canada des États-Unis. Le Colisée du peuple impérial, ça va être 11 fois plus que le Caesar Superdome ou que mes 49ers ils ont perdu. Mes 49ers ils ont perdu dans ce Super Bowl-là contre les Ravens, mais bien sûr, on va pouvoir bâtir ces choses-là ensemble. Puis qu'est-ce qu'on va faire à l'inauguration? Ça va être de moi et Donald Trump boxer. Je dois dire salutations à mon ami anonyme, qui n'a pas été mon ami à cause de l'argent, puis pour m'avoir fait un don des gants. Les gants rouges, j'ai en arrière dans le sac à dos en plus. C'est avec ceux-là qu'il m'a fait un don. Depuis 2018, je fais appel à Donald Trump de me battre dans un combat de boxe. Parce qu'il a fait l'erreur d'imposer des tarifs sur le Canada. Puis nous, notre intérêt géopolitique, Canada-États-Unis, c'est réciproque. Pour le Canada, pour les États-Unis ensemble, il faut qu'on enlève la frontière. Il faut qu'on fasse un passeport commun, puis on se concentre la défense de côte à côte. Fait que nos ressources, on va s'ouvrir, on va se faire famille avec les Américains, on va continuer avec le français, puis leur population, puis notre territoire, on va faire une géopolitique stratégie pour le 21e siècle et pour la continuité de la Collectif de la Civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. Je fais amour, encourage l'entraînement physique québécois et québécoises. Et pour les cadences, for the cadence, Dragonomic cadence. Get ready for the cadence. Dragonomic creative freestyle mode on the mountain, 26th of June, 2025. '25 cadence. Cadence for the Dragonomic created. Freestyle mode. Let's go cadence. Dragonomic cadence, let's go. Dragonomic cadence created freestyle mode here on the mountain. As we're gonna go up, as we're gonna go down, by the city, by the river, by the mountain cadence. Freestyle mode, property of the Dragonomic. Use only if you're an ally, an army. Pledge your allegiance. This is how we roll. And towards the sun we go. By the forest from the mountain. Let's build the house, pyramid of the dragon. House of the dragon. For the Dragonomic headquarters right here, Mount Royal. Coupled with the two centers for the Empire. Pentagon and Montreal for two Dragonomic joint. 63 for the 63, the 10 provinces, 50 states, 3 territories for SSD. As we're going to fuse the North and the South, the Dragonomic, the new North American Collective SSD, Legion, Security Service and Defense Legion, integrated with all existing public and private institutions for security institutions for the 21st century. Dragonomic, Dragon Zero, aka General Cuckold, greatest cuckold in the universe, aka General Limdick Dicklet. Dragonomic, cadence, get ready. Cadence is our sentence. Dragonomic, on the toes. For the farmers, for the butchers, for the bakers, for the 63. Truckers, nurses, firefighters. Hey, you know they be those train conductors. Gotta get some satellites. Gotta get some of that ice. Hey, we got some food. We got some melons. We got some truckers going east and going west and going north and going south. We got the Montreal to San Francisco. Dragonomic, here we go. Hey, we cannot be bought, we cannot be bribed. For the farmers, for the butchers, for the nurses and the doctors, for the plumbers, electricians. Sun is shining, that's a dime. And you know we not out of time. Hey, where the Dragonomic say. Hey, yeah, 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 where the dragon army say. Hey, yeah, 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 where the dragon army say. Hey, we don't need to slay but defense. We don't need to slay but defense. We don't need to slay but defense. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Gotta give that magic potion. Ah, you know that who we be. Dragon army for the free, for the brave and for the loving. In the forest, on the mountain. By the rivers, by the cities. By the rivers, by the cities. Gotta give it so you see. Left and right in harmony. Right to the west and right to the east. Coast to coast, we ocean to ocean. Canada, the 13. We're gonna add that to the 50. To the 50, we're gonna add that 13. Is the Latin mottos for the US and the Canada. Dragon army make the motto. Ordo ab cao. Dragon army do the motto. Ordo ab cao. Dragon army do the motto. Ordo ab cao. Dragon army do the motto. Ordo ab cao. Some of my dragons are homos. Some of my dragons are dragonesses. Some of my dragons are black. Some of my dragons are white. Some of my dragons are white black. Some of my dragons are black white. Some of my dragons are red. Some of my dragons are dragonesses. Spell it that with double S's. For the truckers, butchers, and the firefighters. Marching cadence for the nurses. Marching cadence for those changing diapers in the daycares. Reading some books in French and Quebec. If you're in Quebec, it's one of the 63, and that's the French you gotta be. You gotta be friends with French. Friends with French, we gotta be Dragon Army. Friends with French, we gotta be. Gotta get that Dragon Army. Friends with French, we gotta be. Gotta get that Dragon Army. So you see just what you be. And the left in harmony. Doing left and right in sight. Skyscrapers, they do not bite. Hey, we go Montreal to San Francisco. By the feet and by the bus. By the feet and by the bus. In the forest, that of lust. Hey, hear the birds and that's a hawk. You know that we don't stop. Clock to clock. Dragon Army. We are family. Nobody is born a dragon. Gotta get that order kisses. Gotta, if you give order Dragon Zero, oh, there's gotta be a bait fight. You gotta say you gotta hug naked. Then you gotta be able to do defense, and use, of course, fire. Of course, for defense only, Dragon Army is the establishment of the Dragon Army, aka Legion of the Empire, Imperial Order of Power for the 63, the 10 provinces, 50 states, 3 territories. Only for S and D. Only for security, service, and defense, integrated coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We're gonna play that DDD, defense, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. And the Operation Northern Scorpio, 7 years, and the Total Mobile Defense Theory, TMDT, Total Mobile Defense Theory, TMDT, Total Mobile Defense Theory, TMDT, Total Mobile Defense Theory, Total TMDT, Total Mobile Defense Theory System. That's how we're gonna do it. That's what we're gonna do on that, and that's how we're gonna get drilling. So the Total Mobile Defense Theory, we're gonna implement it, and gonna go sing in the sun and go back to my headquarters now, because I need to get that eat again. Yay, if you're hungry, gotta eat. Got some bakers, got some bakers. Got some bakers in the left, got some bakers on the right. Hey, you know we army left. Hey, you know we army side. Hey. You know that we The dragon army, sun shining. Got some states. They got some steaks. Not the steaks, but steak we eat. Not the steaks as in the stakes are high, but the steaks. English language, gotta love it. Steaks are steaks, steaks, high stakes. What are the steaks? Steaks, high stakes. You eat high stakes. Gotta get a dragon army. And you know you gotta sing. It doesn't matter if it's not Mark Twain. It's rock and roll, but feel the pain. Get some rap for the clap. Dragon army, we the gang. Dragon army, we not gang, we army. Dragons, we not gang, we army. Dragons, we not gang, we that army. Dragons, we not gang, we that army. Dragons, we not gang, we that army. Dragons, we're not gang, we that army. Dragons, we're not gang, we that army. ARMMY. Let her twerk, and if she can work it, let her twerk if she can work it. After defense, play some kissing. After defense, play some kissing. Black and white and rainbow squeezes. Some of our citizens, civilians are lesbians. Gotta kiss them, gotta love them. And if you don't, you gotta defend them. And if you don't, Dragon Army, you're still gonna have to defend. Oh, come join us in the 6310 provinces, 50 states, 3 territories, rock and roll. Let's go for the Dragon Army. Are they gonna come through here? Gonna go doing on that. So we're gonna go drilling all the way south. That's going on the go. Now watch it here, they come fast with the cyclings. Gotta get it on the goose, man. They gotta get it on the goose, man. Let's get it loose, you know. It's gotta get it on the left, on the right, man, you know. Something which we have to be doing. Let's go, you know. So we gotta get loose with that, and we gotta get straight, and that's how we have to do it. Hey, look at that smiley face. Is that a smiley? Is that for me? That's for you. Gotta get it on the gas, on the left, on the right, and that's how we gotta get doing on the left, on the right, man. Hey, if you don't love them, gotta defend them. Gotta get it for the left, gotta get it for the set, gotta get it for the best. We don't love and less. We don't love and less. Gotta slide up in the mud. 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 So you know we on the left, so you know we on the right. Dragon Army, that's the sight. Side or right, you know we say. We gonna do it every day. For the left and right we go. For the left and right we toes in the steel toes. Hey, you know we are not gang. We are army. We're not gang. We are army. Dragon Army play the cadence. We ain't gang. We are army. Dragon Army play the cadence. We're not gang. We are army. Dragon Army play the cadence. We're not gang. We are army. Dragon Army play the sentence. We're not gang. We are army. We ain't gang. We gang. We are army. That's a good rap. Rap, rock and roll. Let's go. Let's go. We passing on the rocks, in the forest, on the mountain. Dragon Army, where you at? Montreal to San Francisco. Pledge your allegiance, legions. We are not some demons. We are dragons. 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 That it is, and for the look, for the rainbow, for the left. For the sun is shining best. Branches not you gotta rest. Hey, yeah. Dragon Army, what you say? Hey, yeah. Dragon Army is what you say. Hey, yeah. Dragon Army is what you say. Hey, yeah. Dragon army's not to say, hey, nobody is born a dragon. Gotta work out, get some sweat. Gotta get a list of best. Gotta work out, get some sweat. Gotta left them be upset. Got some mushrooms and some clouds. And you know we silent loud. Got some mushrooms and some cloud. What is our sentence? Is the dragon army cadence. What is our sentence? Is the dragon army cadence. What is our sentence? Is the dragon army sentence. What is our cadence? Is the dragon army sentence. Was the dragon army sentence. It is our cadence. What is dragon army sentence? It is our cadence. We got a left and got a right. We got a left and got a bite. We gonna see it for you see. We gonna see it for you goose. Where the goose is so loose. So you know we got a bruiser. So you know we got a bruiser. On the left and in the right. In the left and on the side. Gotta get it for you see. Gotta get it for you be. On the left and on the right. You know that we are Messiah. For the left and for the right. For the best and for the sight. Dragon army gotta see. Got an army gotta be. Left and right in harmony. You know that I gotta see. I gotta get it in the B. I gotta get it for you see. Left and right in harmony. Pledge your allegiance that you be. Hey, Dragon Zero. Right here, Dragon Zero. Cadence. Dragon army in the sun, marching in the sun, and we're gonna finish the cadence soon. We're gonna rock and roll, bakers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, fire, grocery store class. We're gonna get it on the go for that, and gotta get it on the left and on the right, and in the middle, and for the losers, the butchers. Gotta see. Let's go. Gotta give it. Gotta give it so you see. For the left and right you be. And from the darkness in the light. From the forest, from the mountain, for a civilized life. From the mountain, from the forest, from the civilized life. From the mountain, from the forest, from the civilized life. From the mountain, from the forest, from the civilized life. From the mountain, from the forest, from the civilized life. Gotta be it so you see, gotta be it so you be. On the left and on the side, for the dragon army sight. You know where we go, dancing on the show. So you know we rock and roll on the left and studio. For the left and for the right, for the left and for the side. That we know we gotta see, that you know we gotta be. Left and right in harmony, gotta give it so you me. On the left, on the right. Beautiful, and that's alright. That's alright, so you decide. That's alright, so you beside. That's alright, so you beside. That's alright, so you beside. So you see up in the left. So you see up in the left. That you see up in the left. Left and right up in the sets. Left and right up in the sets. Hey, you know we got a best. Hey, you know we got a best. So you know we got a set. So you know we got a left. So you know up in the left. So you know up in the set. Dragon army cadence. Turn your heads left and right. In the sun, you know we skies. Here the mountain. Cadence, I think 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, cadence 2025, year 0, year 1 again, it was year 0, 2020, I guess, year of the dragon, year 0, Dragon Kingdom, the Empire, Dancing Goddess, Dragon Kingdom, Dancing Goddess, and Priestess, and also Dragon Goddess. Hey, you gotta dance and rock and roll for the public transit workers, bus drivers. Let's go cadence for the bus drivers. Bus drivers, we march for them across the 63. Transporting our citizens that they be. We got our boys and girls in blue. In the police that I see you. Dragon Army, police integrated. police, integrated citizens, civilian citizens. We gotta get it on the go. We gotta get it on the left, right, Z. We gotta get it on the X, Y, Z. We gotta get it now, and we gotta get for the butchers, for the cyclists, fellow citizens, cyclists. We gotta get on that X, Y, Z, and we gotta get it on the drill with that, and gotta get it towards the sun. Let's go, sun shining. Finishing the cadence with gratitude, grateful, thankful. My rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, and financially stressed but joyous. In the backpack, I got some sandwiches. I think they're peanut butter jelly sandwiches, but still good. Good to go, rock and roll 24/7 for the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, and firefighters, plumbers, electricians, all involved in the production, in the distribution of food. Gotta get it for the lights. Let's go. The cadence. We the Dragon Army, that is our sentence. Dragon Army cadence, that is our sentence. Dragon Army cadence, that is our sentence. Dragon Army cadence, that is our sentence. The Dragon Army cadence. Pledge your allegiance, legions. For the firefighters, butchers, bakers, nurses. Marching with that cadence, that's the Dragon Army. We army, not the gang. Dragon Army, we not gang. We the army, understand. Dragon Army, we not gang. We that army, understand. Still back. It's 2 more hours to get back to my headquarters, so still a lot to go. A few kilometers, miles to get back to my place, so gotta go there, get that rock and roll drill. Grateful, thankful, rent paid, electricity bills paid, and got food and coffee, and encouraging all the workout, train, exercise. Working out, train, exercising has been, is, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice. And I guess we'll see each other later. Today, pledge your allegiance. Love you, love you, love you. Make some good loving for me, double trouble. That's what we need most now.